two other teams have won 22-0 games, Pittsburgh in 1975 and Cleveland in 2004. Todd Monken ended practice early for the Browns yesterday after a series of plays that left him what he has called emotionally hijacked. Reports say Monken kicked defensive end Benton Whitley off the field for making contact with Shedeur Sanders and did the same when Aiden Huntington hit Quinshon Judkins. The play that ended practice 10 minutes early was Jared Verse grabbing Judkins, which resulted in his guardian cap being knocked off. The team has one more practice today before they welcome the Bills to town tomorrow for a joint practice ahead of their preseason matchup on Saturday. You can now find 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and get the best content from our shows each and every weekday. That's 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Headline sports news every 20 minutes on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Meredith Kane.
The afternoon drive.
I think there's an element of people who think that Deshaun won the job simply because they had no expectations for him on Saturday.
Well, life is about expectations, right? And when you go in and you have the lowest of low expectations, 11 of 16, where you have a delay of game, you have one of the worst fumbles you ever see, and don't complete a pass beyond 10 yards, it's going to look a lot better than maybe it is in reality. I'm with you. I don't think the job is necessarily done and over. I am also not going to ignore the idea that Monken seemed incredibly pleased. They continue to give Deshaun number one opportunities at every turn. The splitting the joint practice, him having the actual practice that matters this week, it does kind of feel like the Browns already made up their mind one way or another. They just needed to make sure Deshaun wouldn't fall flat on his face.
And I think if that performance is why they're, have a different pep in their step, they're not going to beat the allegations that this thing was rigged.
The afternoon drive. Weekdays starting at 2. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan. The Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima.
Hit high, hit deep to left. Gilbert gonna wave goodbye. High into the bleachers it goes. And it's a 3-0 Guardians lead right out of the gate. Can he do it again? Yeah. Smashed up the middle. That'll drive home 2 more. Had trouble picking the ball up in center field. But Joe Adell is 2 for 2, and he's knocked in all 5 Guardians runs. Hard hit ball left field. Here comes Rocchio. They're going to wave him home. He's going to score. 6 RBI night for Joe Adell. Everybody moves up. Adell goes into second, and Quan goes all the way to third.
This is Cleveland Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Audio courtesy of Guardians TV. Ain't dead yet. Ain't dead yet.
Kenny, hearing that clip, and I know sometimes we're just in it, so we're used to it, but hearing the sandstorm in the back, that da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and then hearing the Mario coins, and I'm like, if you just came back to like 1988 and you're like, here's what baseball sounds like in 2026.
Fine.
What would people be saying when they were just like 15 years removed from wearing suits to games?
I got it. Damn it. Okay, well, you win. They wore suits everywhere, though.
They did, yes. Which, I told you, I wish it would make a comeback for, like, fine night outs. But
that's fine. Why can't it be for a fine night out? I just don't like wearing ties because my neck is bulbous. I have a bulbous tie.
Bulbous?
Is that the word for it?
Is it?
I think it's from Seinfeld. I learned that about bulbous necks. I have a very large neck. I think it's a 19. I'm not sure. I mean, look at it. It's
Should they
fat.
do this?
I got jowls. Getting older. What?
Should they do this, though? Although if you look at like John Goodman after his incredible
I think it looks great.
Shrinking that has been going on over the years.
I hope I hit that point in life. God, I hope I hit that point in life.
He's all turkey neck now.
Oh, I would love to be turkey
left.
neck. I'd love to be turkey neck Ken. I look at like Mike Francesa and how heavy he was at one point. He was portly. And now I see him and he's got the jowls and everything. I'm like, I want those. I want the Bill Parcells jowls later in life. That's what I want. If I make it that long and you guys see me and I got the jowls hanging in the weird neck, that's like
which I can't do anything about.
Hanging around, you can't do nothing about it. I'll be happy.
Just look at the Real Housewives of Insert City, and they can't do the neck.
Nothing kind of fits right. Everything kind of just hangs. I'd love that. That'd be great.
Real Housewives of Chagrin Falls.
Well, you gotta give me a
at 6:04. So let me ask you
the
this.
party's still going on at 6:04 in Chagrin Falls, brother.
Would it be interesting to anybody to do throwback baseball night, where the people go to the stadium.
I think you just gave maybe the Guardians. Hell, why not? But I think you just gave the captains and crushers and rubber ducks an idea.
And you get dressed up for it. It would make national news. It would.
Do it earlier in the year where it's not so hot outside.
That's true.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, because you wear a suit and then you go, my Lord, this flower's wilting.
Well, you don't want to become
the fans.
This muggy August weather gives me a case of the horribles. What are you going to say, Owen? I'm sorry.
No, I can't even think of the word now. I was going to say you don't want to become famished, but that's a different word.
No. There's plenty of food to eat over there. You won't become famished. I think it's a great idea. Get one of them hats that Don Draper wore. What the hell they call that? A fedora.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
My grandfather used to have a winter fedora, a fur fedora. It was wonderful times. Anyway, he can't wear it anymore. He passed away. Around the AFC North coming up at 8 o'clock. Also, Herm Edwards coming up at 9.
He's
Season's
worn
not
one.
over.
I guarantee Herm Edwards is wearing a fedora.
You think so?
Did they stay alive? Is that what you're asking with that win yesterday?
There's also another argument to have that, Baskin and Phelps, of all people, mixed it up. Amazing. Anyway, we'll get to that here in a second. But season's not over. Season's not over, Tone. Are you going to say whether or not you agree, or are you just going to sit there and let me languish and say season's not over?
I didn't think if they would have lost yesterday, the season was over.
Actually, if they would have lost yesterday, I think I was going to come in here and go, okay, put your name. I actually wrote it down. I go, all right, put your name on it. Are you ready to call the season? Because the Guardians do this. The Guardians do this with their own social media. It is kind of fun. You will spend hell on the internet for the day or two, but like they take notice of anybody who puts out there like season's over, season's done, and then if they make a run,
because they always make a run, they always make the playoffs.
They're going to save your stuff and they're going to let you hear it. They did it to Dustin. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
They've done it to other people. I mean, Paul Hoynes had to walk into the lake for crying out loud. So I kind of wanted to go.
Is that the same day Hugh Jackson was in there with his crack?
If they were sitting there
showing off to everybody.
All right, you're going to make me take a right turn because somebody else brought this up, and a person who doesn't like to sit there and talk about the old days, because you and we were inundated with stuff of him saying and trying to somehow not take blame for 131, whatever the hell his record it was at one point. 336-1. He was somehow trying to not take blame for that, and we got inundated in line. He goes, we've done it a million times.
We have.
And then Nick over at 8 was like, I can't believe you guys didn't bring that up. I go, what? I go, you were critical of everything we do. I go, how? You didn't, you thought we should have brought, he goes, well, he goes, it's just so crazy. All these losers from back in the day, all they do is spend the time after they're done being losers here. They're just losers somewhere else. And all they do is try to sit there and try to justify their time while they were with the Cleveland Browns. I go, man, this is some strong stuff coming from you here. And I think there were some people who were surprised we didn't address it.
It's rinse and repeat. We've done those shows. We should just do the best of and replay it.
I'll say this. I got to do Champions Pose again because I said to you in real time, and you said, well, he's got, like you and Kenny, like he's got all the money in the world. And I go, he can't run away from Wikipedia, and Wikipedia is going to say it long after he's gone what his record was with the Cleveland Browns. And that's the last time. I don't know what happened at Grambling, but that's the last time he's ever got a chance to coach as a high-level coach in the NFL, and that's going to be it. And he's showing up on every single podcast he can to ever kind of get away from it. Is it all his fault? Absolutely not. It's all his fault. It's not all his fault. But 336-1, you wear it. You're a loser then. You're a loser now. You're known as a loser. You have a lot of money. That's fine. Money can't buy you from not being known as a loser. Have we moved on?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, because I'm just saying there's definitely people out there who are struggling to pay their bills, and they are way less of a loser than you ever would be. You're such a loser. I get that. Did I rub it in enough, or do we need to do it more, or are we good?
I feel like you've left the window open just a little bit in case you want to backtrack.
Because you know what? One day it's going to be over for both of us, and I won't be the one who's known as a loser. I'll tell you that right now, pal.
Yeah, that closed it. That's all of it.
But you can go to Twitter and say whatever you want. Who cares? Nothing but a loser of Browns past. Look at you. You love it. You love it. You love it. Well, whatever.
So he's going to be the one that shows up with the chains in your dream? Losers of Browns past. Losers of Browns present.
Today
present.
you will be.
Who will be the losers of Browns?
Who
You will
is
be
the
visited
future?
by 3 former Browns coaches.
Count the losers 3 or 4 or 5. Oh, geez, 7.
I go, which one? Anyway,
We don't put Chudzinski in there. He never had a chance.
actually,
Come
he's
on.
the only one I consider the bigger loser. Who else are losers out of that group? Like Romeo Crennel, if you want to go all the way back, like Romeo Crennel had a great run for a moment.
Yeah.
Might have got a little
Are we
bit lucky
talking
with the quarterback
record-wise?
situation. I mean just in general how they ran their operation. Like, I think Mike Pettin did a better job than what I will give him credit for or anybody else because I thought he tried to run a professional operation. And then he was handed a bigger loser than Hugh even was and Johnny Manziel. So, yeah, you got ran up on by a loser.
I mean, are we going to power rank the Browns losers now?
Well,
I mean, it seems like this is the time to do it.
we already know who number 1 is. All right, who's number 3? That's the big one. Is it Braylon Edwards? Is it Greg Little? Are they even in the
Can I
conversation?
give you a bigger loser just
That's a
because
total difference.
he was a total non-contributor? Like at least Braylon Edwards made a Pro Bowl,
That's
that
all.
1,000 yards. No, I'm going to give you like a Justin Gilbert.
Okay, he scored a defensive touchdown.
Okay.
Man, that's-
I'm
I'd
scraping
love
the
to
bottom
throw
of the
like
barrel.
a Kenny Britt in there.
That was a good one. That was.
Not only was the play not great, one of the greatest locker room dividers that you can.
Yeah.
John Dorsey nowhere near the loser list. That was like the first thing he did. He's like, bye-bye. I'm in here now. Later. Like the season didn't even end. Good stuff. Okay, Kenny Britt I like.
We do anything with Dwayne Bowe?
Oh,
You know what's crazy? There was a video like 3 weeks ago at Chiefs camp, and
No.
a security guard tried to stop him because he didn't know who he was, and Kelsey had to come over and go, because we forget here, and it was
Yeah.
hard for me even. I'm like, oh yeah, Dwayne Bowe's one of the greatest Chiefs of all
Yeah,
time.
he was very well
he
liked.
is.
very well
It's
like
just-
Chiefs. Well, no, you
it
know
was
what?
The post-Chiefs.
And he's one of the Brownsiest Browns
But
of all
I
time.
haven't seen, and maybe this goes in Kenny Britt's feather in his cap too. We'll get back to the Guardians, I swear. But now I'm just fixated on loserdom. Well, they were winners last night, so I can't.
2 of
If
3,
we're
they've won
doing
2
the
of
thing on
3.
losers, if you Dwayne Bowe has not, as far as I know, I can't keep all the player podcasts together. You know, there's so many of them. But as far as I know, Dwayne Bowe has not showed up on a podcast
No,
or a show.
because he already has a podcast name built in for him.
Are you serious?
Well, I'm just saying, somewhere under the Dwayne Bowe.
6:13. I didn't realize you were that sharp that early.
Brother, I stay sharp.
I have not heard him show up on somewhere under the Dwayne Bowe and say and try to get away from any responsibility of the Cleveland Browns. Like he's just moved on and lived his life. And it's like, okay, you want to make music and hang out and have fun with the money that you got from the Browns. Like, all right. Yeah, that was a long time ago. We can move on from that, right? That's cool. But no, okay, Johnny Manziel and then Hugh. There you go. There's my
Here's
2.
your list.
If you want to throw in a third, you go right on ahead.
Coming
There
in
you go.
hotline, that's what it's there for.
Yeah. The Guardians are still alive. 8-1 win last night. There was one. Who was the call up? We got listeners in Marietta, and there was a kid. And now, of course, my thing's frozen. And I looked at it. I got home last night, and it was on in the kitchen, and I didn't see it. Okay, so there's a kid. Who the hell is this guy? I have no idea. This is great stuff here. I don't even know who the hell he is.
Turner Hill?
He was a call-up, yes. And apparently he's from Marietta, and he had a bunch of he had a bunch of family up here last night, and he had a pinch hit double in the top of the 9th when they were already down 8-1. And there was a bunch of people yesterday who wanted us to mention Turner Hill. So there you go.
A Pio? Is he a proud Pio?
I have no idea, Tone. You're supposed to be the one who knows.
Remember, they
You're
won
the one who
national
worked in-
championships down there.
Yeah, so you're the one who is supposed to know. So I don't know. Once you left WTAP, I mean, you really left it. You don't like show up on Facebook again and be like, I'm in Marietta, especially after the wedding we went to.
Other
and
than the time I almost got stabbed.
you were called a slur and nearly stabbed and nearly started a barroom brawl. There's another question that's thrown out there. Baskin and Phelps had a bickering argument over this.
It's the biggest argument they've gotten in
Because
years.
last night, the Guardians, again, they won, and they're now 61-65. The season's still alive. Chase DeLauder was not in the lineup yesterday out of an abundance of caution for hamstring tightness. And Baskin and Phelps, of all, usually it's you and I, Nick and Jonathan, you and I versus Nick and Jonathan. What?
Most likely to fight.
Oh, number 1 is me and Anthony. Number 2, Nick and Anthony. Number 3, me and Nick.
Baskin and Lawrence Timmons.
Baskin and Lawrence Timmons. So here is Baskin and Phelps arguing over Chase DeLauder yesterday.
He's got to play now.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
If he has a slight hamstring strain, you sit him.
They took him out the other day. He got an extra day's rest. He's fine. Get him back out there.
Is this the hockey mentality? You never think
Jeff,
anybody.
I mean, look,
you
if they
never
don't win
think
now,
anybody you should take care of from a physical standpoint. If he has a hamstring issue,
if he
and he
does,
goes out and he tries to explode out of the batter's box, he yanks it.
They said they were doing this out of an abundance of caution.
Okay, that's fine.
Can we trust the team on this one?
Sure, absolutely.
Then get his back out there.
Well, no, you need to trust the team. You just said trust the team, and then you said get his back out there.
Yeah, that's because they said they did this out of an abundance of caution.
Well, what if they're cautious again tonight? You going to yell at them?
You know it's serious when they nearly said the A word right there, boys. I actually agree with Jeff.
The champions pose.
How can
for
I sit
Jeff?
there and talk about possibly shutting down Jose Ramirez and turn around and not agree with Jeff? Am I wrong? So I have to agree. Now, I do think Jeff is, I always bring up, I'm a pretty conservative offensive guy when it comes to football, run first, this, that, and the other, establish the run, quote unquote. Jeff is the most ultra-conservative, staunch person when it comes to seasons I think I've ever met. Going for big trades, going for big names, that's just not Jeff. He's not going to want to do that. I'm telling Jeff, it is my personal opinion, Jeff was much happier if they would have never traded for Donovan Mitchell, never would have made the trades for anybody.
Oh.
And they would have just, he likes to watch a team grow. And so he's very conservative in that moment. And he sees a guy like Chase DeLauder who's okay, he's budding, he's good. Okay, if we're going to trust the team, let's go ahead and sit him. That's the whole sort of thing that he has. And while I love to try to poke him a little bit on that, I'm I can't do it because I was just saying on Monday, it's we got to consider shutting down Jose Ramirez if this next week doesn't go our way, because what are we holding on to? So I have to agree with Jeff on this. Do you agree with Jeff or Andy?
Well, I do, and also I agree with Jeff because...
You do too? Okay.
Yeah, in this case, what we were worried about, and I remember when Chase got the call up, it was going to be monitoring his games and just whether or not he was going to hit a wall because of his injuries prior. He had never played in a substantial amount of games, even in the minors. I mean, you could go back every single year.
Yeah.
So the anxiety was going to be, hey, if he gets to that point, what is going to happen? That is one thing they always are monitoring with these young guys.
Yeah.
Trying to avoid them hitting a wall. So what happens is they get called up later in the year, and it's okay, now they're going to be fine. But he was called up early.
The last thing I really want, because I still think the odds are against them, and we're paying attention to game by game to see if they're alive. I think that's pretty telling. I would not want his season to end under injury, and then we go into the off season and what could be a long off season. And he's had a really nice year, and I do want to be careful with that. I think he's a guy that we love him. Yeah. But Chase DeLauder's a guy who's going to battle injuries his entire career. Go ahead, finish it up.
We got to go, but he played 138 minor league games, and right now he's at 107 with the big league ball club. So that's just what you're monitoring that because of the injuries that he had sustained prior. And so I don't think he is the guy that you want to really put your foot on the gas with.
It'll be brought up more in About Last Night coming up at 7:45. In 5 minutes, now the Browns are too physical. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, take us with you to work on the free Odyssey app. Friends, Ken Carman here for Peter and Co.
to what I've thrown out for a while now. Could you just pick a quarterback and get the whole offense going on the same page? I just think he needs to name a quarterback sooner rather than later. I don't care which one it is, but just name one and really work it and give that person and that crew and everything as many reps as you possibly can.
Baskin and Phelps, weekday mornings starting at 10. 1, 2, 3. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Coming up at 8 o'clock, we go around the AFC North. Bob Haney, 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore. Mo Egger, ESPN 1530 in Cincinnati. Andrew Filipponi, 93.7 The Fan in Pittsburgh. You excited for that one? For Pony?
100% today.
And then Herm Edwards. Who's more likely to get into a fight with us? Andrew Filipponi or Herm Edwards? Find out later on at 9 o'clock when Herm Edwards joins the show. We'll ask him, obviously, what he would do in this situation, who he would start, who he'd want to sit. Are the Browns now too physical? Did you see Jared Verse yesterday?
I did.
Rip the Guardian cap. What is it with Browns defensive ends and going after helmets of people? Took the Guardian cap off of Quinshon Judkins at the end of practice yesterday.
I thought about this. I don't want to give him too much of an out, but isn't that the safest thing you could possibly do?
With the Guardian cap?
The Guardian cap. Kind of just comes off, right? Like it
really doesn't come off. You really got to give it a good yank.
Yeah, but it's
that
not
Velcro's
like
good.
It's not like ripping the helmet off.
No. And then,
so if you're going to do something,
hitting the guy with it and getting in a great big melee on national television and upset your quarterback, and you getting upset at your quarterback, and then that quarterback going out and hurting himself, and then, and then, well, we all know what happened after all that.
So as an homage to Myles Garrett, someone who's being compared to on every single snap right now, you could do worse.
It's an homage to Myles Garrett.
Now, would it have been funny had he have taken it as a bit and tried to hit somebody over the helmet with it?
No, it would not have been funny. Would not have been funny. You
wouldn't have laughed.
Is the Browns practice too physical, though?
No.
You saw. Wait a minute. Todd Monken, the Monken man, called practice early.
Yeah. Well, it should be noted that they haven't really done that, meaning when I talked to Zach Jackson about this yesterday, normally by this time of camp, you have cut some practices down or changed the schedule or canceled something just because at this stage, like these guys have been overworked. And so they hadn't done that yet. So it was kind of due for them to kind of cut something short. So no, I don't think it's.
Well, you say that, but I disagree. Judkins got smacked on another play.
Yeah, I saw
then
it.
earlier in this camp, Quinshon Judkins had a shot that was considered, like you would do that in a game and it would be fine, but you would not do that in a practice, and it got Mike Hall, and Mike Hall might have already been hurt when he got hit on that play, but it didn't make it any better.
Yeah, and then you had Shador got hit yesterday late, and so I think Monken had seen enough, and I just think these guys are antsy to see another team, another group that they
Thursday.
Can go after, and they're going to get the joint practice,
which
I think they are going to come out. And this is going to be, I think Monken is going to say, all right, it's time to do it to another team.
The reason I say this, though, the reason I even bring it up is that I think you are seeing the needle that is trying to be thread by Todd Monken with his team, with the talent that he has. Because I told you guys, I don't know how you saw the first preseason game, and it wasn't by how they played, it was by personnel. That you could see that first preseason game and think that they're going to be a playoff team. And that's understand. Now, that's not an excuse to Andrew Berry. You can go ahead and right on and rip Andrew Berry all you want. Go right on ahead. It's his job. That's part of it. That's not an excuse. But I can buy the logic of it where I'm just looking at personnel going, man, if we lose one guy in that secondary, out of that starting secondary, we are in serious trouble. But we probably already are in serious trouble with the quarterback situation. We probably already are in some trouble here because, I know that some people have said, they're not worried about the offensive line gelling. I hope they're right. I really do, because I'm worried about that offensive line. Like there are so many things that have to happen. And when Todd Monken is so, and I'm going to use a word here that is not going to be taken well, sensitive, but he has to be. If he's going to be very sensitive towards the injury, which I probably would be too, I think they're showing you exactly what it is. Because I haven't seen a whole lot of guys on the bikes, guys in the bucket hats, guys walking around. Like there's guys like Carson Schlesinger, he'd legitimately be out there. Denzel Ward, his body of work shows you that does he need to be participating in all the practices? No. But there's guys who do. You're trying to get your work in, but at the same time, you're trying to keep everybody healthy because you need these guys, and you need them week one. And I think he's trying to do this balancing act where every single time he's trying to make sure they're ready for week one. And then I have to wonder, are you, and no coach wants to do this, are you coaching the injury? Are you coaching to that? And I brought that up yesterday with Deshaun Watson because you remember Jonathan had brought up the arm numbness after he hit the arm on Saturday. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, how long are you going to do this? And he'll play this coming Saturday for a quarter. And I wonder, will he play on Thursday afterwards? I know Todd said that Taylon Green is going to play some that Thursday against New England.
Might you see a series?
You very well could, because now you're in a tough spot where, like, I think Deshaun Watson the starter, and you think he is. And by the way, I think one Cleveland fan favorite might have let the cat out of the bag yesterday about that. More on that at 6:43. I'll let you guys decide whether or not that a certain somebody who fans really, really, really like let the cat out of the bag on the starter yesterday. But, and this is even a John theory, I might even bring him on for it. But I think that you're trying to get the weird balance of 660-plus days without playing a game, playing in the game, getting the rust off, getting the work in, but also not getting a guy hurt. Because how much you losing if you get any of the quarterbacks hurt? I'm not sure, but it ain't going to help.
Yeah,
you need all the talent that you have.
But the thing about, Deshaun Watson, what separates him from other QBs that have signed big contracts or whatever, is that the investment has already been paid.
Yes.
And I think that's important. I saw a lot over the last few days about this, that people are coming to grips with him winning the starting job, that either predicted he wouldn't win the starting job, or that were just staunchly in the Shedeur Sanders camp.
Yeah.
They have to come up with reasons this is happening outside of he's outplaying him. So the reason I heard a lot over the last few days was that, well, the memorandum came from Jimmy's office or Andrew Berry, like Todd.
And I said to you yesterday, did you like what I said to you yesterday about that? It's like, well, you're going to sell PSLs coming up within the next couple of months. Do you really want to upset your fan base that's you're trying to sell PSLs too?
Believe me,
they know you don't like them.
Just as much as Denzel Ward knows when there's a video of him making a defensive play and whether or not it's a touchdown or not. So he was having fun with Spencer German, who I don't even think shot that video and put it up, but those guys know that. Ownership and the organization know what you think of Deshaun Watson.
The money on Watson's already spent.
They are not telling Todd Monken to play him to recoup some value. That's not happening, guys.
Guys, the trade, and I brought up about the Shedeur part of it too. But it's also the trade of Myles Garrett means all that for Deshaun Watson as well. It means that for him as well. If they thought there was anything left in the tank to shake out to get any of the gas going again, they wouldn't have traded away the premier defensive player in all the league. They wouldn't have done it. Like I'm telling you, they have mentally checked in. They're trying to the organization and the coaches, I should say, they're trying to win games. The players are trying to win games. They have moved on to 2027 in so many ways. Like your quarterback of the future, he's playing in college. They know it. I don't know how many times I need to hit you over the head with it. And Jimmy Haslam believes that. And I think Andrew Berry certainly believes that. And I think probably in the deep recesses and subcockles of his heart, maybe even Todd Monken believes that. But he's the one who's tasked out there to win because he's got to talk to the media twice a day during training camp and after every game and all that other stuff. He's the one who's got to do it.
Yeah, so I know that we're trying to figure out how in the world Deshaun Watson's beating out Shedeur Sanders when he's not the future. I think you should. Part of you, as mad as you might be about this, you should feel good that nobody's meddling with Todd Monken. And I don't think anybody is. I think Todd Monken came in. Maybe he did to sell himself on the job. Maybe he's like, I can work with these quarterbacks, and notably, I can extract the last little bit out of Deshaun Watson, who once was really good, and it's been years since that. I have my doubts whether he's going to be able to pull it off.
I totally doubt it too, but he has every right to try it.
How good are we going to be feeling about Todd Monken, that hire, and what he can do with everybody on this offense?
Well, that's why you hired the guy, is it not? Did you not hire him so you can get the very best out of him, even players we don't like? You're supposed to try to get the very best out of them. 8 o'clock, we'll go around the AFC North. Coming up in 5 minutes, did one fan favorite Cleveland Brown let the cat out of the bag yesterday on who's starting this season at quarterback? Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, all that. Herm Edwards at 9 o'clock, and nobody wants this at 7:01 on The Fan.
Hey everybody, it's Anthony Lima for Van Scoy Hair. You don't have to wear a hat all the time. Restoring your hair has never been
0% APR and no payments till 2027. Call Home Genius Exteriors at 855-UR-GENIUS. See website for details.
Deshaun Watson, Shador Sanders. The Browns QB battle is back. We're your home for preseason coverage. The radio home of the Cleveland Browns. 92.3 The Fan.
Did we have a Cleveland Brown let the cat out of the bag about who's starting at quarterback? Browns tight end and fan favorite Harold Fannin Jr. John believes that he might have let the cat out of the bag about the starting quarterback of your Cleveland Browns. I got a couple of questions about that, but let's hear Harold Fannin here talking about adjusting to Todd Monken's offense. Listen closely.
It's a lot more information, so, I definitely say that being able to adjust on the fly, like as you guys probably seen, it's a lot of quarterback control, so it's a little bit different in that sense. Like Deshaun can call whatever he want more, or whoever playing quarterback, but it really ain't that much different from last year.
Okay, John, you had the theory. You go ahead and explain it.
Yeah. So first of all, that is obviously edited. It's very edited. That's not as quick as you'd think, right? That little pause.
Well, then why didn't you leave the original in?
I didn't.
You got to leave
think
the
I
original
cut that?
in.
I don't cut those.
Well, yeah, but if you want to make a point, you need to leave.
Arguments coming up, you make the cut.
Exactly. You're the one who's supposed to do that.
Well, he said anyway, so he's like, or any other quarterback who.
Well, I need to hear the original clip, John. If you're going to put it in there and you want to make the argument, you need to hear I need to hear the original clip.
I think he does exactly what you needed to do.
I don't know if
anyway.
it does. I don't know if it does.
I need something to compare it to. I need a baseline. I then need you to compare all of Fannin's previous answers where he's been asked about the quarterbacks to see, does he struggle to remember both names remember, these guys, it's not like their life is getting interviewed. This is such a small portion of their life. And does he have to, every time he talks, say both quarterbacks? Does he have to say Dylan Gabriel, who's also
I think they all have.
Every time we talk, we have to talk about both quarterbacks.
Sure.
Good, bad, whatever.
And this is not Fannin just doing this. This is every other player on the Browns.
You have other examples?
Yeah, we've had not.
Could you please illustrate those with
we've had
a steady diet and catalog of clips?
No, now you
First of all, when I was at training camp 2 Saturdays ago, Todd Monken, when we talked to Mike Bajakian, and they asked Mike Bajakian about Shador Deshaun, and he's like, "Oh, don't forget Dylan." So they're trying to keep every quarterback in mind.
Which, when someone says that, it makes me immediately want to forget them.
Yes, exactly. But they're still saying.
If you have to say "don't forget somebody," then they're planning on forgetting that person.
Yeah, and probably planning on trading them post haste.
I'm just saying, this is what the Browns have been doing the entire offseason. Todd Monken's done the exact same thing.
Again, if you can back that up with a catalog of clips to demonstrate that you are saying something that has any kind of weight behind it, as opposed to you coming into this debate half-cocked, which is what I believe you've done.
You walked into the dragon's lair over there. It's Tone you're dealing with here,
He's still
sir.
hovering around his probationary period.
Tone.
I get he has a busy weekend. He was at the feast enjoying himself.
Yeah, he was.
So he's still recovering. It is Wednesday.
More enjoying yourself. I love it.
It's time to get back to life in your career, John. Take this seriously.
Now, wait a minute. Hold on. Now, John's getting upset. You're making John upset. John boy's mad now. Hold on. Do we have the original there in there, Owen? All right, Owen's working on something there. Because, listen, you know where I stand on it, John. I think it's a done deal. I think it's Deshaun Watson. So I want to be with you on this, okay? I want to join you. I want you to take me by the hand and lead me on, hopefully not down the primrose path, but down something nice. But, when he says it and it's that quickly and then you immediately go, well, it's edited. I'm like, well, I got to hear the original. Because the other quarterback's fan base, all they do is accuse us of lying. So we have to tell the absolute truth as best we possibly can.
Let's play what we heard already.
Okay.
This is what we heard that has been edited, and
Hit it.
I have a portion of what was unedited.
Excellent. Thank you.
It's a lot more information. So, I definitely say that being able to adjust on the fly, like as you guys probably seen, it's a lot of quarterback control, so it's a little bit different in that sense. Like Deshaun can call whatever he want more, or whoever playing quarterback. But it really ain't that much different from last year.
Now that's quick. That was quick. Sounded like it was one clear thought. Now here is the original.
This isn't the full of that, but that's just getting
the original.
Here we go. Here we go.
Stop saying here we go.
Sometimes the button gets stuck.
Being able to adjust on the fly, like as you guys probably seen, it's a lot of quarterback control, so it's a little bit different in that sense. Like Deshaun can call whatever he want more, or whoever playing quarterback.
Couple seconds.
Champions pose. That's Champions pose right there. That's Champions pose right there.
What?
That was a pause. That's an oh crap, I can't give this away.
All right. There's not that much difference in the editing.
There's a difference. There's enough of a difference to edit out a pause in the cut.
Listen to Mike Lindell trying to declare victory.
They left the same amount of stuff.
Well, it's Wednesday. It's 6:50, not Friday at 9:45.
I think there is a bigger angle here, and I'm curious what you guys think.
What's that?
I know he said at the end it's not that different from last year, but this is not the first time. And I've heard guys say off the record stuff about this, but since he just validated it, I'm going to just bring it to light. That the quarterback control thing, he is saying that Deshaun, and he didn't say Shedeur in the clip, but let's focus on Deshaun for the sake of it.
All right.
He's saying the quarterbacks in this offense have a little more control to make their calls, which was something that Stefanski maybe was a little more reluctant to. Do you think that matters for this year? Do you think that is an interesting talking point, or do you throw it away and say, it's not that big of a deal?
Well, that's going to be a trust factor, and if you want to treat them like pros, you're going to treat them like pros. That means they're going to have to be able to can calls and check into whatever your audible is going to be, like you can do something like that. Now, are they capable of doing it? To me, that kind of sounds like Kevin Stefanski thought they weren't,
right?
Including Deshaun Watson.
I did have a source that I think would know that had told me that Deshaun was more excited about the opportunities in this offense because he did have that ability, which Fannin is alluding to in that clip. And I haven't heard it be a big talking point so far this year. And let's be fair. They just played their first preseason game. It's not like they've had a lot of time to kind of talk about the differences. As much as the media, I always try to ask Mary Kay, what do you think of the way Todd Monken is coaching? What do you think of the way? You can ask her this
tomorrow at 8:20.
Yeah, so I do think this will be interesting to see, because also, what do we know about coaches? If they think they've given a little too much leeway and it hasn't been effective and the quarterback is not demonstrating the capacity to operate at that level, they may rein it in a little bit.
They are control freaks.
Sure.
And so it's very hard to hand over control to people, especially if you don't fully trust them, as I try to throw something
away.
That
was impressive.
Thank you very much. Thank God I didn't get it on the banner behind us, or this will be my last day on earth. So I think that is something to notice. But I think what John is trying to specify is whether or not that Harold Fannin might have accidentally left the cat out of the bag. I want to know from you, and really the bigger thing is, I think Deshaun Watson is going to be the starter. I think you feel the same way. Do you think that matters to anybody, or do you think the general population is starting to look at it and go, yeah, it's going to be Deshaun Watson?
I've definitely seen more concessions, even from some of the Shedeur people, and not everybody's nasty about it. Everybody, I think, also has to understand Shedeur is going to play. He's going to get his opportunity. You don't get your bragging rights that he won a competition yet, but it doesn't matter, because once he gets a chance to play, he has a chance if he comes in, either the quarterback's been injured or the quarterback hasn't played well. So that still doesn't put Shedeur in some kind of a box where he's a failure.
Yes.
Like, he still has a chance to recoup something out of this experience.
Well, because I still think he's going to play a significant amount of time. So that's still going to be an effect to that, because I still don't have, while I think Deshaun Watson is going to win the job, and I think he probably already has won the job, I don't think that is with a lot of confidence on how I say that.
Just ask yourself, and ask the fans, who's going to play in more games this year? Shedeur Sanders or Deshaun Watson? I agree. So I don't think it's the end of the world. So that's all I'm saying.
So why are we getting all bent out of shape out of it?
I don't think we should.
Either that, or a lot of us just want to be right.
Unless you just think Shedeur is way, 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 way better than Deshaun, and maybe he just couldn't demonstrate that yet in just 2 or 3 weeks.
We'll go around the AFC North coming up at 8 o'clock. In 5 minutes, nobody wants it. Not here, and certainly not over there. What is it? Well, I'll tell you, coming up at 7:01 on The Fan.
make the easy throws. We're not going to test it in any sort of way. And just pass that, and then we can see what happens moving forward.
The Afternoon Drive. Weekdays starting at 2.
1, 2, 3.
We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
$720, you guys thought it was gone. The Haslams are bringing it back. Well, there's one event in particular I'd like them to bring back if they're going to bring this back, but you're going to find out at 720. Also, we'll go around the AFC North at 8 o'clock. A lot of conversation coming in about this. Harold Fannin Jr. might have let the cat out of the bag. Might have. But honestly, it's not like some big revelation. I think day by day, reports were there was some more struggling again from number 2 yesterday. Daryl was nonplussed, to say the least. I think day by day, a lot of people are like, yeah, Deshaun's going to start the season. But I think you just hammered it home. You're like, if you were to ask people who's listening who they think is going to play more games this year, I think we'd all immediately my answer was Shedeur. Immediately it was Shedeur. Like 3 seconds in you asking the question, it was Shedeur. So it does sound like a loser's lament, I'll tell you that, but it also is the truth, I think. I think that Shedeur is going to play in more football games than Deshaun Watson this year.
And obviously part of that dynamic, part of the arithmetic there for me is that I'm assuming Deshaun's going to have trouble staying healthy, unfortunately. I hate doing that with athletes, but just especially with a quarterback that doesn't have great pocket presence, I imagine he might get himself into some tough spots, might take some big hits.
Might be in trouble.
You know, we still don't know if he can cut and run the way. I know people are saying he looks better, but in NFL game speed situations, you start reverting back to things you used to be able to do at Clemson and at Houston, and you try to make a cut, and then your body is not ready for something like that. That's the first part of this. And obviously, the other part of it.
That's why traits are so important to NFL scouts, because if you have the traits, it's easier to pick up the good stuff and to leave back the bad habits. Like I'm sorry to cut you off, but the whole Tim Tebow thing, like, was it the Jets that he had went to, or no? Maybe it was. No, it might have been when he was actually drafted. And they go, "Oh man, he's cut out all those habits." You cut out habits in 3 months,
just overnight, just like Evan Mobley and his dip in his shot.
And no actual games. You cut those habits out in 3 months, because when you're under duress, what do you usually go back to?
Right,
old habits. And so if your old habits start out better than the other ones, they're going to give you a better chance.
Yeah. The other part of this is, you know, if they are just losing games and he's struggling, it might not matter if they think Shedeur is better or not. Like, they're just going to go to the backup. Yeah. That's what all NFL teams do. That's what all coaches do, especially when it gets heated, especially if the fans are booing, if he even makes it to game 3, then that all adds to it. You can say that stuff doesn't matter, but these guys do pay attention. I mean, Todd Monken, we had him in studio. He knows what's being said about his players. He knows to a T. He might not have an active Twitter account or anything like that. He knows what's being said about each and every player, and they can take the temperature of the situation. And when you're losing games, what does it matter?
Nobody wants it. Not here, not there. What is it? I'll tell you in just a moment. Patrick and Hudson, you're first up on the Fan. Hello.
Gentlemen, good morning. How are we doing?
We're doing well, Patrick. By the way, congratulations on all your success. Go right on ahead.
Really appreciate it. No, I just want to say, you guys made a comment earlier. You know what? Like, I do think above all else, I am happy that it seems that they're avoiding all politics and just letting Monken do his thing. And, you know, like, just go play the best guy.
Well, yeah, like I don't want him to. I don't want Watson to start, but I totally support the logic behind letting your head coach, who you just hired, make the decision. And by the way, just because I don't want it to happen, I'm more than willing to accept that. Yeah, he might be the better player, more apt to start right now. It's not hard.
Right. You know, and you know, more than anything, just for anybody who keeps saying, "Well, why would you not play Shedeur to go see what you have?" I think that's the whole point of training camp. If Shedeur can't beat out Watson in training camp, well, then you are seeing what you have right there, obviously. So, really pumped for the season. Can't wait. Love the show.
Patrick, thank you very much for the call. He's the first person who says he's really pumped for the season and he can't wait.
Wow. Yeah, we don't get a lot of those.
Worm's starting to turn, babe.
How can you not?
School's starting this week.
The one thing.
Maybe we're starting to see football more. Maybe we're like, all right, now we're getting into that mode. Maybe I'll say 9 wins by the end of this week. Who knows?
The thing about the NFL
probably not
that really does make it different from the other sports is that, especially bad teams that draft a ton of young players, like who's not excited to see these young players?
I don't know.
And to see,
at least we got those.
To see guys like Fannin and Quidshon, to see how much they may have improved from the following year, for the previous year. Schlesinger as well. Like that, even on a losing team, that'll get you excited at the first quarter of the year.
Adam Schefter reported yesterday that Roger Goodell has stated yet again that it is not a issue if, it's an issue of when a team will permanently be based outside the United States. Lima, you and I got on the phone. We've had a kind of conversation about this, but it took a turn yesterday, and we decided to go back to our separate corners about it. And what I hated about it is I think we talked too much, because I think I'm going to be on your side about this for one little critical thing, because I had more time to think about it. My thought was, and you were the same way, who wants this? I don't think anybody in the States wants this.
No.
So let's just put London, England out there, right? I would say that's the first market they would want to go to. Obviously, everybody would say that. If you were to put London, England out there, who in the States really wants a team based in London, England? Are you going to put them in the AFC or NFC East? Are you going to have to fly over there? Are they going to have to fly over here? Do you really want to have to do that? Do we want to have at least one 9:30 game every single year? I do think we're going to have a 9:30 game, but it doesn't know if there's going to be a permanent team over there. And then I thought, and I said it to you. I go, well, I don't think it would work over there. And you said you don't think it will work over there either. It would just exist. It'd be like the Jaguars. Well, I think everybody outside of Jacksonville, no offense, I know there's diehard Jacksonville fans. I'm sensitive to this sort of thing. Our team moved once. But it's like, you're kind of just keeping it going because you're the NFL and you're too big to fail. But this has not been good. And you keep throwing money at the situation. And I would just see something like that in London. They have their thing they're passionate about.
Yeah, they could put a team anywhere. They could relocate the Bengals and put them in Rattlesnake Island.
But it'll work.
It'll work. But is it going to be something that makes sense?
But I go, well, what about Premier League moving here? And I said to you at first, I didn't think it would work, and then I thought about it over the afternoon, and I went, no, Tone's right, because you thought it would work here. If they were to take, okay, Premier League, we aren't going to trade. You put an NFL team in London, we'll put a Premier League team in New York.
Yeah, I think the soccer thing actually works because they care about the superstars here in all these big cities and the cosmopolitan type fans that love to New York, Chicago, Miami, go to the bars first thing in the morning. We see it here in Cleveland to a much lesser extent, but they like to watch the stars, the teams of the EPL. And I do think if there was a team here, especially after that incredible infomercial for a month that went on for soccer, for world soccer with the World Cup in this country, I do think people would love to watch the superstars come in and be able to watch these teams come in if you had a team here in the States. I don't think it's the same way. I don't think they care about Patrick Mahomes.
I agree with you.
In Europe.
I totally agree with you.
I don't think they care about Myles Garrett. I don't think who are the biggest stars right now in the NFL? Who are they? I don't think they
care
globally.
Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow. I don't think that they really care. I think you're right. I do think we care. And also, I mean, it is in our nature.
I see the EPL jerseys everywhere now.
And I do think it is in our nature and how we were raised and in our DNA as Americans. We tend to take things that other countries have and make them our own. We certainly did that with the World Cup. We certainly did that with hockey over the wintertime. We love to take things and make them our own. So, yeah, I do think that there would be a passion following, but I think about the NFL. I don't think anybody over there would really care. I don't think anybody over here would really want it. And I don't think the vast majority of your players, 96+% of your players, come from the United States or U.S. territories. If you were from Arlington, Texas, do you want to be drafted by London?
No. No, you do not.
Do you want to move out of the country and to another continent to play in the NFL.
Away from your family, away from your friends.
Yeah, and there might be some people who they become free agents and they're adults now, and maybe that might be cool to them where they want. But you're talking about 21-year-old young men, and I just looked it up while I was saying this.
Yeah, from Odessa, Texas.
Flight time to Dallas-Fort Worth to London is 10 hours and 15 minutes in good weather. So if you're from Dallas, well, how far is it from Cleveland to Dallas? Like Myles Garrett, how quickly could he get home? 3 hours? 4 hours?
Yeah.
4 hours. Owens made that flight. 4 hours from Cleveland to Dallas. We're talking 6 extra hours. Like you can't. Like Myles could go home after a Thursday night game and come back if he wanted to. There ain't no Friday morning flight out of there to go back to Dallas, Texas. And I'm thinking the middle of the country. Imagine if you lived in Los Angeles growing up.
I know we had a lot of our wealthy fans. What was the last overseas game that the Browns had? Was it London?
It was London last year.
Yeah. Okay. So they go from time to time. I don't even think about it. I don't even think of making the trip. If I go to Europe, I'm not watching Browns football.
Well, and also,
I'm just not mixing that in. I got so many other things that I would want to see and do.
And you and I know this, and I think a lot of Browns fans know this at times. Like there's definitely been some people in the NFL who do not like to make these trips. And these are players we're talking about. And if we're just talking about one-off trips, imagine having to live there. Like if you were the players union, I think that this is a fight at some point. I know that everybody can make more money.
How about come deadline? You know how many guys are looking to get out and do everything they can to be, a problem in the locker room, a malcontent, so they can get dealt. And I'm not saying London wouldn't be an amazing city to live in. Just think about these athletes at that stage, where they want to be.
A lot more people are homebodies than we think.
And so my question is, at what point, as we continue to talk expansion in these sports, as we now talk about going to different countries and adding more teams and messing with the divisions and messing with the conferences and messing with the schedule, at what point would it actually be a turnoff to the fans where it would cost the NFL viewers? Because we're still going to watch. If they go to London, it gives us the window of the day extends.
But
at some point, does fatigue set in?
It is a curiosity, but it is not a passion. And that is a huge difference. 216-474-0092. I ask you guys that. And just when you thought it was gone forever, the Haslams are saving it. That and about last night at 7:45 on The Fan.
The team has one more practice today before they welcome the Bills to town tomorrow for a joint practice ahead of their preseason matchup on Saturday. You can listen to the Fan Rewind weeknights from 11 p.m. to midnight, all the best segments from all our shows, and you can always listen on the Odyssey app. Headline sports news every 20 minutes on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Meredith Kane.
You got to have the word. We're not allowed to use them, are we?
No, we can. It's just I want you to say what we're talking about.
It's here today, not gonna stay. Go right away to the IX Indoor Amusement Park. Gotta get to the IX Indoor Amusement Park. Folks, the Haslam's are, well, I don't know if they're bringing back the amusement park, but they are keeping it around. You thought it was dead. It ain't dead.
I actually care more about this than the Browns quarterback situation. Get this remedied.
Yeah, one's going to be more fun.
Get this remedied.
The amusement park is way more fun.
I want a Ferris wheel where I can touch the top of a building when I am at the top.
I think they just sold that Ferris wheel down in Canton. Because remember, they moved it down to Canton. So the Haslams are buying everything. They can buy the IX Center, and they can buy a new Ferris wheel if they want to. Folks, the IX Center may be saved. Do we have a news story here? Of any sort? I'm sorry. I thought John said we did. That's a miscommunication. Then I apologize. According to what we've seen up on the TV this morning, it seems that they are buying the IX Indoor. Now I just keep saying it. The IX Center. So cool, so fun. Yeah! Inside, jump upside down, spin it around. So cool, so fun. What a great place to meet I messed that part up. Party on till after dark at the IX Indoor Amusement Park. It's here today, not gonna stay, go right away to the IX Indoor
Kenny,
Amusement Park.
This from
my buddy did this at Tina's once during karaoke.
I love the novelty acts when people go to the karaoke. So, according to News Channel 5,
thank you.
It turns out the big farewell to the IX Center in March was a bit premature, as the Cleveland Auto Show, the Great Big Home and Garden Show, Progressive Cleveland Boat Show, and other gatherings are headed back. They got it back. We didn't get LeBron.
We're back, baby.
But we got the IX. This is a fair trade-off, right?
I mean,
this impacts a lot of lives.
I mean, LeBron was only going to be here for a year, maybe two. Build a statue. But the IX Indoor Amusement Park, that's the one. That's a gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, Haslam Sports Group striking a 3-year lease deal with a group of real estate developers who control the IX Center. That agreement covers roughly 530,000 square feet in meeting spaces.
That's big.
So it's less than a quarter. So they're going to operate a quarter of the 2.2 million square foot structure. Maybe the rest will be apartments. Can you live in the IX Center? Would that be...
I would be open to it.
West Tech High School, you can live in the IX
Bingo.
Center.
Thank you very much. I would be open to it.
You got to keep the vendors open 24/7.
That's true. And it is weird when your diet is strictly funnel cakes.
But you know what? That's going to reel them in. So you could live there. Maybe John and his roommates who don't speak English could all move into the IX Center instead.
Well, you can at least teach them the song.
Shorter commute.
Isn't over yet.
It ain't. And we now got an extension of it with the IX Indoor Amusement Park. Well, I'm being awfully presumptuous. Aren't there like 7 floors below there? Or 8 or something like that?
Bowels of the IX
Center. They used to build
Center,
tanks over there.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, way back when. First time I ever went there was a car show where you got to see like Bigfoot and tanks.
I love this.
And all that stuff. I went with my dad. It was awesome.
Kenny,
absolutely awesome.
As a troubled youth, I went with a youth group there for a magic and entertainment show that the final act, and I think there are going to be other people who are absolutely going to remember this because there were thousands of people there. And the final act was whether or not you believed in the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You walked across the stage with smoke billowing everywhere, and you came out on the other side a saved person. And you had to make the determination on whether you were going to make that walk. I think
Why didn't they just dip you in the pool?
I think I was 15 years old, 14 or 15 years old. A lot of issues with young.
Did you walk through?
Oh yeah, you felt peer pressure. You definitely did. But I thought it was maybe the calling. Maybe the calling.
They
had
didn't
me.
dip you in the tub?
No,
or the lake?
that was not this.
They should have dipped you twice if they were going to do it.
This was a magic act. Like, hey, what other Lima parent can we make disappear? This time.
Come on.
I think there was a stand-up comedian as well.
Gallagher?
Now that would have been awesome.
He was there.
But that was legitimately my first experience.
Got the mallet out. Here's the marriage license. Wait a minute. It's the Sledge-O-Matic. That's right.
Yeah.
Forgot. He's dead.
Anywho. So it's back.
Well, I'm glad. Yeah. I can't. I was
just staring at me right now.
Because if you could go back in time, and if I had 3 wishes, that's one of those situations I want to see.
I looked around. Everybody else is walking. What am I just going to stand here by myself? And you know what they did? The youth groups were so smart. It just seemed like they had the best looking. I can't say women at the time. They certainly weren't women.
Okay.
But they were my age. They were age appropriate for once.
That's nice.
And so if they were going to walk across the stage, guess what young Spurts Petone was going to do? Going to walk right. I was going to run across that stage. I would have done anything. That's how they get you.
Well, yeah. I mean, with things at home, you might as well have tried it, right? I mean, what the hell? What could have happened? What's the worst?
Better than me landing in juvie, that was the other option.
It was the 87 Hurricanes and Anthony Lima running through the smoke. 216-474-0092. We move on. 8 o'clock, we go around the AFC North. About last night at 7:45, where the Guardians are not dead. At least not yet. Just like Lima at the youth group, they're on their way back.
I like to give them a backstory sometimes. We don't give them a lot of that.
That is a hell of a story. Do you, I almost asked you a stupid question because I already knew what the answer was. We're getting a lot of reaction to the NFL Europe thing because I know it seems like dead of summer. I just can't imagine a guy getting drafted day 2 from Canton, Ohio. I'm excited to go live in London. I mean, how much are things in London compared to where they are in Cleveland, Ohio?
Double?
I understand. Like, this is the beauty. Honestly, this is the beauty of living in the United States. Excuse me. In North America. This is the beauty of it. Like, Jared Verse is about to make $125 million. I'm just guessing off the top of my head, right? Most of which is going to be guaranteed. Jared Verse, who went to UAlbany, I can't remember exactly where he's from.
Dayton area, but then
that's right. He didn't
play high school football, though, in Virginia.
Yeah, because he's like, oh, you're from Ohio. And it's like,
and he has brought up since he's been here that he grew up in Dayton.
Yeah, so thank you very much.
So he did not play high school football there.
He's from Dayton. I can't imagine a guy from Dayton, Ohio, who ended up playing high school football in Virginia. The sticker shock to Los Angeles had to be something. But if you want to, from Cleveland, you can fly to Los Angeles 4 or 5 hours. And you can be there and back and do the things you want. Again, Miles has a home here or had a home here. He has a home in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Arlington, Texas, I should say. I think it's in that metroplex there somewhere. He has a home in both these places. You can fly a night. Yes, I know somebody already made a 90-minute drive joke on social media. Great. Yeah, you're going to have that. Go ahead. Say it. Might as well.
Well, it's brought to you by Shivan Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store.
Yeah, there you go. It was quicker for him to fly or drive. Well, we don't have to deal with that anymore, at least not right now. Like, Jared Verse is going to make a lot of money, and there's going to be someone that looks at him and goes, you know how much money you're going to save living in greater Cleveland, Ohio, just on everything compared to where it was?
I'll just give you a quick AI overview. You need about $9,300 in London to match the standard of living that $6,000 provides you.
Oh, my God.
So we're talking like,
oh my goodness,
it says 47 to 57% more expensive.
It's one of the most expensive cities in the world, and there's only 2 places that are nearly as expensive as London, Los Angeles and New York.
But I do wonder for football players how much winning can outweigh my savings.
I understand that, but they're also
if London becomes one of the premier franchises in the NFL, I think you're going to go ahead and take the hit on the income.
According to what I saw on the internet over the summertime, every NFL football player, or at least every former NFL football player, has turned into Dave Ramsey and has told us how quickly their contracts go. So where's your contract going to stretch further? Cleveland, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Detroit, London, England. London, England. and then the flights, and then everything else that goes with it, living in a foreign city. If you're a homebody at all, that's going to be terrible.
But so you're looking at it the player's point of view.
I'm trying to look at it from a player's point of view because I think pragmatically it's dead in the water for any
London
football
found
fan
their
we're talking
quarterback yet? Because if Cleveland continues to wonder who the freaking quarterback is, I would much rather spend 57% more as a defensive end if we know every year we're going to be in the hunt for the opportunity to play.
Have you won a championship already? That's part of it.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm just pointing out, like, Myles Garrett, maybe you could accuse him of ring chasing. I mean, it's been 2 years. I'm not trying to be nasty about it, okay? Like, but he wanted to go compete. But he has more money than God.
He was in his own feelings after completely destroying New England by himself and still losing the football game.
Yeah.
And he was over there on the sideline, couldn't keep his head up.
You're
he
right.
was not going, well, at least my taxes are a little bit lower out there in Medina.
But say this. Let me ask you this. Say Myles Garrett wins a Super Bowl with the Los Angeles Rams this year. It'd be great for him. Congratulations on all your success. Actually, I don't want him to win this year because I want to have as high a draft pick as possible. So, sorry, I gotta hope you guys lose some way, somehow, every single game this year. And then next year, if you want to win a Super Bowl next year, you go right on ahead, buddy. After that, do you think he has as much passion to win a Super Bowl as he said recently? Because he didn't really feel it at the very beginning, and all of a sudden you're starting to get closer to 30, and you're starting to see like you want everything. You can have everything. You can have the sack records. You can have the accolades. You can have the championship, everything there. And then once that's gone, it's just like, well, what else do you got? Because there's plenty of guys, once they win a championship, they're like, well, I've accomplished everything. Now I would like to make more money and stretch my money as far as I possibly can. Are you going to, how much more is a team in London going to have to pay guys in a salary cap league to be able to do that? And I understand, like, from a business standpoint, you can understand it. There's only so many billionaires in America. You have billionaires all over the place, or you have groups, management groups, private equity, that can do these sort of things. So fine, London. And you know what? Let's get a whole division.
Well,
Berlin. France.
They want the expansion fees. They want, as opposed to moving Jacksonville where you don't get that. Now you can bring in another how many $1 billion that gets split up and then doesn't even go into the CBA for the players.
Exactly. But do you think that Jeff from Brook Park gives a damn about how much money the NFL owners are making?
No, of course not. What I'm wondering is, all I ever heard when they expanded to 17 games, when I objected to it, and we would open up the phone lines or see the reaction, all I would see is, Lima doesn't want more football? And I'm like, yeah, I don't think you're going to like this over time. And now we've gotten to 17 games, and I still think it's
one of the few things I agreed with you on.
I think it's a bit of a split. Some people do love the more football. I think, unfortunately, a lot of it here in Cleveland relates to the Browns are bad at that stage. What are we watching in December? What are we watching
it just makes
in January?
It's just more chances to mess up your own happiness as a fan.
Yeah.
If you play more games, see, this is what I don't like about it. You've watered down your own product. If you want to add more playoff teams, I can understand that. But when you're adding more to that, you're watering down your own product. You're making people sick of of something that's built in for them to love it. It's supposed to be a short season. It's supposed to be a long off season. Hope is supposed to spring at the end of that. Fortunes can change. Building a team. All that crap that we've been saying for years with each other, for crying out loud. And you're watering down your own thing. So now remember
and
this.
I think your wild card weekend is already the stakes are not nearly as high. Like the teams that are in it.
And I got. Let's be honest. Let's talk about the future of the sport. I got less players playing high school football than we've ever had in this country. Okay, that's one of it. We still predominantly draw from where? The United States. In terms of probably 98% of players come from the United States. That's two things. So I'm going to add more teams, add more games, and thin the talent to be able to help. And that's supposed to make my product better. Like, it's so. I get it.
And
you're supposed to expand your business, but fans don't care about your business. So all you're really doing is watering everything down and making it as thin as possible. And fans know, at least in Northeast Ohio, fans know when they're seeing crap football.
Well, and I also think
they know it on Friday nights. They know it on Sunday afternoon. They're smart.
It just becomes obvious. There's just going to be more games you can skip, and that's not good for the NFL. If I know that games are going on, I'm like, yeah, I've already watched 6 games this week. How many more games do I have to watch? Now, if you're just somebody who is that plugged in fantasy and gambling, but what do we know about the more games you gamble on? The more games you're probably going to lose, right? Over time,
more games you lose. That's the way it works. They're going to do it. I just can't find anything other than people in suits and people who work in business who think it's a good idea. To the general fan that we talk to, because we talk to 90-something% of the general fan out there, I can't find a single person that really likes it. And by the way, I know that's been the fact over in Baltimore. I know that's been the fact over in Pittsburgh when they mentioned it yesterday. Like, nobody's a fan of that. All you're doing is lowering my chances to find my quality players. And by the way, guys, we're in Cleveland. It's already been hard enough. 8 o'clock, we go around the AFC North in 5 minutes. Nope, they ain't dead. Maybe the Guardians have just begun. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, live on the Fan.
Anthony Lima for QC Kinetics, where nobody wants to feel older than they really are. And the good news is regenerative medicine can turn.
Training camp coverage powered by Expert Renovations and Consumer Tire. Beyond the practice field, we are the radio home of the Cleveland Browns. 92.3 The Fan. Your morning routine has changed. Wake up with the Fan Warm-Up Show with Jeff Thomas. Weekdays starting at 5 a.m. Catch up on all the latest from Cleveland sports from the night before and around the sports world leading up to the Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima. It's the Fan Warm-Up Show with Jeff Thomas. Weekdays starting at 5 a.m. on 92.3 The Fan.
So much can happen around the globe that we never hear of.
I really don't give a I mean, it had nothing to do with me. I mean, they moved the meeting. I didn't miss it. I was just trying to get a sweet haircut.
How it is when you win in Cleveland, man. They love you. When you lose, whew, it's the way it should be.
He's a piece of crap. The kid, he sucks. He's sucked his whole career.
I got rumors about him. How he couldn't please his wife, so now he's divorced.
That sounds really good, but I'm not 6'5", and I don't have the athletic ability to play in the NBA.
Now, the Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima give their thoughts on what you might have missed about last night.
The Guardians defeated the San Francisco Giants 8-1 yesterday, and it was the guy who the Guards picked up at the deadline who came up huge. In fact, there was two of them, despite fouling a ball off his knee in the first inning. And then the same may be, Joe Adell would hit a 455-foot three-run jack to start the scoring. Adell would finish the game with 6 RBI, but he would also leave with a knee contusion listed day-to-day. I'm not really worried about him. I'm also not worried about Foster Griffin, who, after a really bad first outing with the Guardians, has had 2 really solid outings. Indeed. He's fired 6 innings of 1-run ball, and even Matt Festa and the struggling bullpen, they came through for you, but there was a guy missing from the fun yesterday, and that is Chase DeLauder. Now, he's not expected to miss a ton of time, but we do know his injury history. Can the Guardians make the playoffs without Chase DeLauder in the lineup?
No. It's going to be hard for them to make the playoffs with him in the lineup. So they got to have Chase DeLauder. I think they really do have to have him. He's been consistent. He's been great for him this year. He's been such a breath of fresh air and a revelation. Not since Lonnie Chisenhall. He's been fantastic for him. And I don't think that they can do it. That's why I'm glad that they held him out just yesterday. And hopefully we'll be able to make a push here at some point.
The Foster Griffin thing was important because I was a little worried that he had 2 bad starts right before we traded for him, and then he had the bad start right after. I was like, we didn't get a lemon here, did we? Didn't take
you were worried.
The rest of the league or the rest of Major League Baseball half a year to figure this dude out. And so that was important. Got to see him pitch well. So that was very, very nice to see.
The Browns have their joint practice with the Bills tomorrow, but the Saints and Cowboys had one yesterday. First of all, these were described as WWE-style bras by an ESPN article. And Ken, you mentioned this earlier. Saints tight end Brock Rechsteiner, who is the son, as you mentioned earlier, of WWE Hall of Famer Scott Steiner. He body slammed a player to the turf, or as you like to call it, suplex.
Well, there was no body slam. It was an actual suplex.
Well,
that's not how I like to call it. That's the actual thing that happened.
World Wrestling Organization calls it that.
Unless you're in Mid-South in the 80s, they actually would call it a supplé.
Well,
no one knows I'm right.
I mean, as a fan of actual real wrestling,
yes,
it's an actual real move.
What's a French
It'll
move?
score you 5 points in freestyle.
Yeah. Well, this happened after Cowboys cornerback Kalen Carson straight up punched him, and helmets were tossed, punches were thrown.
You get no points for that.
No, you don't.
Do you think coaches are actively encouraging their players to fight in these practices?
Hell no, they're not actively encouraging that.
This is what Jared Verse said 2 days ago.
All right.
Fighting is necessary when you get to football.
I think these coaches.
Well, wait a minute. Is that one of your doctored clips like you played earlier today? I don't like these quick edits.
Fighting is necessary when you get to football.
I think these coaches are encouraging them to at least be extensively chippy.
I don't think. Well, listen, if you got a bunch of guys who are walking around going through the motions and some guy shows some fire, it's like, good, finally. But in our experience, the coaches who really, really seem to encourage it, they find themselves out of a job pretty quickly. We know what happened in Indianapolis a few years ago. Freddie Kitchens decided to be Paul Heyman all of a sudden, and that was his one and only year to try to go be Paul Heyman.
It was the brick phone that really got me.
That was the one that got him. But no, I don't think that coaches encourage this sort of thing. That's why I know it's a Thursday and they got a preseason game on Friday, so it obviously or a preseason game on Saturday, so it makes sense that you would only have 1 day of preseason of joint practice with the Bills, but. Todd Monken's right. Day 2, gets some fights going, gets people upset. It's on. You've heard things. You've been barking at each other. people read the things about who won the joint practice, and it's always a man taking over a man, and it's just very demeaning, and they get mad, and then it's fight night.
And a great thing is, though, by the way, the joint practice thing, if the Browns look really good and they're physical, I think you'll see people tack on another 2 wins, 2 to 3 wins out of their totals just based on that. So that's why these are fun. All of this is fun.
Camp fights are fun?
Yeah.
I think they're fun when they're not involving your team.
I think they are. I do laugh, though.
Except Michael Westbrook.
I asked you this last time.
It was not fun.
If it were Jadeveon Clowney that pulled off the 2 different things so far we've seen from Jared Verse in Browns training camp, what would you say?
Old head Jadeveon Clowney?
Yeah, pulling someone's starting cap off.
I think it'd be silliness, but I mean, there's a history there with Jadeveon Clowney. Is Jadeveon Clowney all of a sudden going to claim leadership of the Cleveland Browns?
I'm just saying it is funny. I see everybody totally loves everything Verse has been doing, which I do too. Had it have been Clowney, people have been like, what is this? Why did we bring him back?
Well, one guy is expected to be a leader for a long time. And a lot of people said this yesterday. They went back and listened to the rewind function. And I mentioned this later in the show, which you can use that rewind feature on the free Odyssey app powered by Integrated Restoration, or local experts in water, fire, and storm disaster restoration. There's a lot of people who are saying they're not going to be fooled again. And guys, I did mention this later in the show when we did talk about Jared Verse yesterday. It is, yes, it's a challenge to come in and be a leader in late July and August during training camp. But the real challenge of his leadership is going to happen in October and November and December as the walls are closing in. There will be conversation about jobs. There will be conversations about the future. And somebody's going to have to be the sheriff in the locker room and try to keep everybody as focused as possible. The hard work is still ahead of Jared Verse.
Fighting is necessary when you get to football.
We don't usually do individual baseball games here outside of the Guardians, but I think this one's pretty necessary.
Okay.
The Brewers defeated the Mariners 22-0 last night. They were down 19-0 in the bottom of the 8th inning with the bases loaded. Seattle center fielder Julio Rodriguez, he caught a Christian Yelich fly ball for the second out, and he threw it into the stands, allowing 2 more runs to score. You guys remember when Jim Bowden said a couple of weeks ago when Cooper Ingle did basically the same thing?
Well, anyone that watched me be a GM for 17 years knows what I would have done. I would have optioned the kid out in between innings. He would have been not only out of the game, he'd be on his way to Double-A, not Triple-A. He'd be gone.
You can't option Julio.
No, you can't.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, go ahead and option Julio Rodriguez.
Are these guys on their phones during the game or something? What is distracting them to such a level?
I think it's a much more common thing than you think. Like, you did minor league baseball, John. This happened. I told you guys this happened more than once in 2 years of doing minor league baseball. Did it? I don't know if it happened to you.
It didn't happen.
To me.
Indie ball is a little bit different, where these guys you can get cut at a moment's notice. In minors,
you were indie ball.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you were
in
indie
the minors. Ball. In the minors, like you might have an investment in a guy if he's a 2nd or 3rd round pick or however late pick he is. Like in indie ball, you're gone. We don't need to pay you anymore. You're done. There's no need.
Surprisingly, some guys do want to be a nice guy. They see somebody, or maybe they see somebody they like over there in the stands. They want to make sure they get a ball. They get excited. They finally got a ball hit to them. They think it's an inning ender, and it ends up not being an inning ender.
I understand it in high school where there's one scoreboard with the outs on it. Maybe you haven't glanced at it, but they tell you the outs like in 14 different places.
I'm not saying it's not stupid. It's absolutely stupid. It's dumb. But plus, I think it's more common than we want to realize.
If your second baseman's worth it, he would have turned around and told you 1 out or 2 out.
Well, you got to do the 1 down, 2 to go. That's how you did it in my day with the travel baseball. Not any of this stuff you guys do now with your slide mitts, even though you're supposed to slide feet first. It's a rule.
We used to sit in the dugout and go H-O-H-O-M, H-O-M-E-R-U-N, home run.
You sure you were playing baseball? You sure you weren't playing softball?
No, they used to do that back in the day.
I cannot believe that. That's crazy. That's ridiculous to me. That's crazy.
It's just crazy, John. You know what's crazier? The fraternity across the street selling cocaine when you were in college, or them doing a nice innocent chant when Lima was a kid, and then going to youth group at the IX Center and being saved by our Lord and Savior. Which one's crazier?
I talked to my friend's brother about that last night, and
the cocaine or Lima being saved?
About the cocaine, because he was in that frat, and
Pablo
was he one of the ones? He was one of the ones moving work.
He was a
Peruvian flake over there at Penn State.
All
this
I can
is good
say
stuff.
is that he was a pledge at the time. That's all I can say.
Well, now we see what the pledges.
Could you reckless imagine speculation. Being a pledge?
What they were tasked tasked with doing.
You guys all have a subpoena now to appear in Happy Valley Court in 3 weeks. Way to
You
go,
just
John.
walk into a fraternity and everybody's butt naked, packing, because you can't. You know they make them do it naked. From what I've heard.
American Gangster, that's how they did it.
That's you got to be naked. They ain't taking none of that work. They're not taking any of the product home with them. Don't trust John. You want to work here. Why don't you want to take your clothes off? Coming up in 5 minutes, we go around the AFC North. I want to ask Pony a question about high school football and the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's going to make sense in 5 minutes, I promise, on the Fan.
once you got into the second unit. You saw it with Deshaun. You certainly saw it with Shedeur. And I honestly feel bad for little fella Dylan Gabriel having to clean up that mess in the fourth quarter.
Deshaun did not flat out embarrass himself. I was surprised by that. Was he great? No. Did he push the ball down the field? Absolutely not. But if what they were trying to get was somebody that just didn't fall flat on their face, then mission accomplished.
The Afternoon Drive. Weekdays starting at 2. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
You got to remember all those guests appear on the Wise Heart Right, We Make It Right, called Kyle Wright Hotline. We got 3 of them right now as we go around the AFC North, week 2 of the preseason. And our first stop is in Baltimore. Bob Haney, 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore, as they get ready to go to Minnesota at 1 p.m. on Saturday. Bob, first preseason game. What did you like? What didn't you like?
Well, Joe Fagnano, the undrafted quarterback out of UConn, he was dealing. Threw a pick in the end zone, which is the only blemish on an otherwise strong day. Matthew Hibner, fourth-round draft pick tight end out of SMU by way of Michigan. He had a really strong game. Jacoby Lane, who's been the story of training camp, he scored a touchdown as well. Adam Randall, who was Steve Bisciotti's personal draft pick out of Clemson, converted wide receiver to running back. He scored a TD as well. So we like that. Tyler Loop missed his first field goal attempt, 49 yards wide right. That was unacceptable. Ryan Eckley, who's replacing Stout as the punter, he wasn't exactly great guy, booming the ball all over M&T Bank Stadium. So right now the young specialist might be in question a little bit. And they're with a joint practice with the Vikings next couple of days in Minnesota prior to the preseason, or on a Saturday at 1 o'clock. And if Loop struggles Saturday and stinks in these joint practices, Jesse Minter might be bringing in some competition, or he should.
Do you like camp fights or no?
Nah, not really. I mean, I know they get sick of beating up with each other, but they're not in pads all the time anymore. And, you know, you get padded up, and then you start feeling the heat of whatever it is, temperature-wise, in your respective city. And I understand you want to start dealing, but then you get out against another team. That's where you want to see ones-on-ones, since the preseason is basically, for second, third, fourth stringers. So you don't want it to be interrupted by like a WWE Royal Rumble sort of thing.
Do you think you might have got a steal in the fourth round at wide receiver?
Well, with Lane, look, he was the third rounder. Surratt was the fourth rounder, and Surratt actually led them in receiving on Saturday.
Yeah, that's who I was talking about, because I loved him in Indiana.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But Lane's been so great during training camp. Surratt kind of gets lost in the sauce right now because Zay just got his contract extension. Bateman came back after missing some time with an injury, and Lane's making spectacular plays almost literally every day. That Surratt gets lost in all of that. But, yeah, he has been solid, sometimes spectacular. Went to high school here in Baltimore at St. Francis for a little while, so there's some local connection. But I think they got steals right now, perhaps, in both of them, because Eric DeCosta said before training camp started the Ravens aren't going to be in the market for a Stephon Diggs or a Keenan Allen or one of these veteran receivers. And right now, their faith is played off. The big deal there will be if Bateman plays like he did in 24. If he plays like he did in 25, then the Ravens might be a little hosed at receiver here.
First coach fired in the division is who?
Oh, man. Well, it won't be Minter. I don't think it'll be McCarthy. I don't think Monken. I'm going to Columbo it up and say Zach Taylor.
All right. I'll take that answer. That's fine. Bob Haney, 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore, as the Ravens get set to go to Minnesota to take on the Vikings Saturday at 1 p.m. We now go to Cincinnati. Mo Egger, ESPN, 15:30 in Cincinnati as they host the Chicago Bears, 7 p.m. Saturday night, preseason game 1. Your thoughts?
Well, preseason game number 1 against the Detroit Lions was, I thought, pretty much a success for the Bengals. Number 1, they got through it healthy. I think that's been the sort of underreported story of training camp so far, is how healthy this team has been and how much they've gotten through the first 3 weeks without any sort of major, injury issue popping up. I think the thing that stood out in the first preseason game was their rookies, their draftees, all showed at least some level of capability and made you think that if, each of those guys make the team, that each one of them can contribute. I think what most fans are talking about, I know what most fans are talking about, is how the offensive line backup struggled, how starting left tackle Orlando Brown got beaten by a dude named Eric O'Neal, who's an undrafted free agent out of Rutgers who had 2.5 sacks last year and caused Joe Burrow to get hit. That kind of reminded everybody of all the Bengals offensive line issues of yore. As far as Saturday night, I don't know that we're going to see anybody of consequence because they have a joint practice with the Bears tomorrow, and I think that's going to, as it has around the league, kind of take the place of the preseason game. But there's still some interesting things happening lower on the depth chart. This team's roster quality is going to be based on its depth, and I still think there's some jobs up for grabs that could be won or lost on Saturday against Chicago.
Is Joe Burrow sick and tired of hearing the questions about his durability, and is he feeling any kind of particular pressure going into this season?
Well, I think he knows those questions come when you play 6 NFL seasons and you miss significant time in 3 of them. I mean, I think he's smart enough to understand those questions are going to come your way. He seems rejuvenated. He seems re-energized. But I think there's definitely pressure on him. Look, his exact quote when asked about the roster and the offseason the Bengals have had, his exact quote was, "We have what we need," which to me, that's Joe Burrow saying, cool, front office has done its job. Now I got to go do mine. And look, quarterbacks are judged by how much do they win. And then there's individual accolades that will come with it. But, yeah, I think Joe and Zach Taylor understand that they are the 2 men who have the most riding on this season reputationally. And I think from a Zach Taylor perspective, with his job maybe slightly hanging in the balance. But, yeah, there's a lot on Joe Burrow. When you say the organization has done what it's needed to do, and I got what I need, and you don't deliver, then the finger is going to be pointed directly at you.
Mo Egger, ESPN 1530 in Cincinnati. Who is the first coach fired in this division?
I'll say Monken, because typically the teams that fire their coaches are the bad teams, and the Browns are going to be bad. I think the Bengals will make the postseason, and I think that'll be enough to keep Zach Taylor around. Pittsburgh and Baltimore simply don't fire coaches, and so I think it's a fool's errand if you're picking them. Now, this blows up. If the Bengals blow up, if Burrow misses more time and the Bengals don't make the playoffs, we've talked about this before. I think Zach Taylor's gone, but I find it hard to believe, and I said this 2 years ago when I was wrong. If Joe Burrow plays every meaningful snap, that this team will be on the outside looking in, and I think if this team simply makes the postseason, which I believe they will, Zach will be back. Coaches get fired when they're attached to lousy quarterback situations and they're coaching bad teams, and it kind of feels like it fits the description of what's going on with Todd Monken.
Mo Egger, ESPN 1530 in Cincinnati, as the Bengals get set to host the Chicago Bears Saturday night, 7 p.m. We now go to Pittsburgh, 93.7 The Fans, Andrew Filipponi, as the Steelers getting ready to host the Jets, 7 p.m. Friday night. Has high school football started in Western Pennsylvania, Andrew? Because I feel that there's a lot of people, it's a very passionate area. I've seen all the right moves. Is there a conundrum for Steelers fans?
Not only that, but the new NFL Films documentary narrated by Pat McAfee called Football Town, which is about all the great players that have come out of here. Also, his soundtrack, Life of a Polarizing Figure, is featured prominently in this documentary, so check that out. No, it has not started. They are still in the heat acclimation period of high school football in these parts, Ken.
Okay. When do they start their season then?
They start at the August 23rd, maybe? Somewhere in that ballpark range.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we start football here, but it matters more here in Northeast Ohio. But we don't need to make documentaries here. Go right on ahead.
Oh my God! Ask Tom Arth and Drew Eller those questions. My God, you wouldn't get a word in edgewise. They agree.
You wouldn't. No, I'm sure they. Hell yeah, Drew Aller would.
All right.
Hell yeah.
Pony, we got to talk the quarterbacks. I'm excited to see some other guys who are just sick and tired of Aaron Rodgers, quite frankly, and knowing that there's a national champion there and there's somebody from Northeast Ohio. Have you guys been excited, albeit just preseason, but have you been excited about what you've been able to see?
Oh, absolutely. The quarterback school that Mike McCarthy has put these guys through, paying very early dividends, huge returns, something Mike Tomlin would have never been able to do with these guys. Arthur Smith, who's been jettisoned to Ohio State, would not be able to do that either. So, yeah, I mean, these guys are 1 for 1. Aller had the highest passer rating of any rookie. Carson Beck, Ty Simpson, Fernando Mendoza included in the first preseason, 3 touchdowns, 3 drives, 3 touchdowns. Will Howard, been critiqued and scrutinized by the Chris Mullers of the world for not having the proper arm strength to be an NFL starting quarterback, made a great throw to Robert Tonyan, the former Aaron Rodgers buddy in Green Bay, for a long game that ended up in a touchdown, and he looked really good too in the 2-minute drill especially. So I don't know. I wonder, I put myself in Ken's shoes sometimes, those big size 14.5s, and I think about, if I were you guys, I would much rather have Drew Aller and Will Howard right now than Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders.
Kenny, your thoughts?
Why wear size 14, not 14.5? And the stereotype isn't true, by the way. Did you say Chris said, was it Will Howard or Drew Aller he said didn't have proper arm strength?
Will Howard.
Oh, okay. For a second I thought he said Drew Aller. I was about to hang up on you and call up Muller and start screaming at him.
I know that both of you guys, especially Ken, liked those quarterbacks.
I do.
So much.
I do a lot.
Draft classes.
Well, yeah, I can't. Yeah. I'm not going to sit there and deny it. Yeah, I guess I'd rather have those two than the ones we have. What is that a problem? Did you think I was going to fight you on that and try to put myself in a galaxy brain mode to figure a way out of that?
No.
Okay.
I did not.
All right, Pony, obviously you were the one that led the charge in your town to get rid of Mike Tomlin, one of the more successful coaches in modern-day NFL. Now you've got Mike McCarthy. How sure are you that he's going to be able to get this team to about 500 this year?
I'm not. Not at all. I don't think that they're going to have a winning season, actually.
So are you missing Mike Tomlin already?
No, I'm not. I don't think a losing season is a bad thing for the Steelers. Actually, I would welcome it.
Are you tanking? Are you rooting for a tank?
Tanks for nothing.
I mean, the last time it happened, Tone, Ben Roethlisberger became the Steelers' franchise quarterback. So, yeah, I apologize if the last time I saw the Steelers go 6-10, it led to a guy that for a long time had the most wins in Cleveland Browns Stadium history. So, yeah, I would not be opposed
that
to watching
being torn down. We're on to a new building now. He
anything.
can't play in there, so it doesn't matter unless they have
I'm
an
not even
going to
remember this era.
Yeah. Browns fans have already mentally moved on. That's not the dig you think it is.
We're ready to start new arguments.
Who's the coach?
What happened to Paul Skeens' physique? My goodness.
I don't think that's such a bad thing. What is your guys' problem with Paul Skeens' physique?
Know. Was that doctored imagery, or has he really put on
agree with me?
The freshman 30?
Pony, come on. Meet me halfway. You got to agree with me, right? It's ridiculous. People are just upset that he's dating Livy Dunn, and so they're ripping him for having a gut. You and I, we're in the same era, man. Okay? We dug coal together, Pony. We watched David Wells pitch and pitch a no-hitter. We saw Bartolo Colon pitch. I mean, we saw CC Sabathia when he was heavy pitch. I don't think that matters. What?
That's the holy triumvirate of fat pitchers.
I mean, there's other ones. Bob Wickman was a big one. Yeah, they're big guys.
How about Rod Beck?
The late, great Rod Beck. God rest his soul.
Yeah.
Pony.
So, yeah, I'm with you on that.
First coach fired in the division is?
Head coach?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah. Quality control, go.
Yeah. There's going to be Les Montke at some point, so I would say him.
I'll see you in hell. Andrew Filipponi.
Pony didn't seem very interested in engaging with us today.
Who knows what's going on?
Going through the motions.
Who knows what's going on with him? Going through the motions.
That wasn't the real
He's
Pony.
still on the phone. You want me to get him?
Yeah, that was.
Is he still there?
Was that
Pony.
an imposter? Did you hire somebody to do your hit?
Guys.
What?
I gave you 2 or 3 or 4 openings to take the gloves off and fight with me, and neither one of you wanted it. So
it's a good point.
In the mirror.
I can't fight with you every time you're on the air. Not every time. I wasn't going to take the opening. I wanted Tone to take the opening, but he didn't want to do it either. Sometimes we're going to play nice, okay?
And, guys, what a great interview with Aditi. I am so excited that Deshaun Watson has renewed focus, and he is so committed to football.
He's got that smile back.
Before.
I will be sending this. I will be sending this to Aditi, and then you can have it out with her on your show when she joins you this week.
It's today at 4:15. Goodbye.
Well, I got some work to do. Thank you very much.
Now, Kenny, not everybody is buying the smile routine, the having fun routine from Deshaun Watson, from what I heard.
Yeah, we have that, and this is management. This is ownership. Or it's just an excuse why Shedeur isn't going to start, and you're mad about it. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima. Herm Edwards, former NFL coach, ESPN analyst, 9 o'clock on The Fan.
Anthony Lima.
eastbound due to a disabled vehicle. Meredith Kane with your Odyssey Cleveland traffic.
Headline sports news every 20 minutes from the University Hospital's sports desk. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan. Training camp coverage powered by Expert Renovations and Consumer Tire. 92.3 The Fan.
Tone, why the hell is Deshaun Watson in the lead to be the starter? There's some people who have some thoughts on it.
I think Todd Monken is actually believing in Deshaun Watson. Could it be?
No, I heard it was management. I heard it was ownership. It was management. It was ownership. Or he could just be more ready to start week one than the other guy.
Yeah, so that's
okay?
That's
No?
kind of
Oh, okay.
That's kind of where I'm at in this. It's not that Deshaun has totally outperformed Shedeur. I don't know. More of the throws that I've seen, it seems like, you tell me if I'm wrong, you're there a lot. It just seems like Shedeur has actually been a more accurate, a lot more of the, quote, dimes, as much as I've kind of ridiculed the usage of dimes, the overusage. But that may not be, and I thought we talked about this before camp to get everybody prepared. That's not the only thing that the coach is looking at. The coach isn't going, hey, send me every throw that these guys have made, and I'm just going to pick a quarterback. That is like 15%.
That's not part of that's not the biggest part of the job. It's an important part of the job, but you're a manager out there on the field. That's why I hate the term game manager. You mean smart quarterback? You mean guys who are able to make a fine living for a long period of time? Because I've seen idiots play the position in a Browns uniform, and they've been terrible. They made big throws, and we all got excited, and we all high-fived each other and had beers and had a good time. But you've seen complete morons play the position. You need somebody who knows somewhat of what they're doing. Now, none of the four guys that are in this quarterback room are anywhere near the moron that I was referencing, because he was a moron for other reasons included, and it didn't help his football. But the issue that goes with this is that, yes, accuracy and arm strength, those things are important. Intangibles are important. You got to be able to know what you're doing to get people lined up, because you're dealing with rookies too. And if some people are still not buying into the truth, and I can know that's why I lost my mind earlier this week. I can't tell those people the truth anymore. Like, you are who you are, and if you want to continue to deny the truth, either A, you really, really hate the one guy. Okay, we all hate somebody. Or B, you just don't know football. I mean, there's that too. Which I don't want to play this now because it sounds like I'm referencing somebody who doesn't know football, and I'm not trying. I'm not trying to throw the guy under the bus. We'll do that at 8:45 if that's okay. All right?
No, I want you to.
I don't want to do it now because I'm really.
Because to me, it sounds exactly like what you're saying. It doesn't sound like.
I'm really not trying to do it. I know how this is going to come off, and I'm not trying to say that, and I know he's not going to be happy about it, and I don't want to do it.
Holier than thou football, man.
No, I'm not. But you know I'm not.
Yes.
You know I'm not.
But I'm telling you what you're coming off.
I understand how I'm coming off to people who don't want to believe the truth or who do not know the game. That I know how I'm coming off, and frankly, I don't care anymore. I don't care. If you've been through this for the last 18 months and you no longer know your ass from a hole in the ground, or I just assume you never knew your ass from a hole in the ground when it came to it. There's plenty of people who watch football and they don't know what's going on. My mom watched football for 66 years. Guess who didn't know what was going on? Mom. Mom did not know her ass from a hole in the ground when it came to football. And compared to some of the guys who, they're probably going to school and they're probably going to practice, they're probably going to other things. There's definitely people who could draw circles around. Hell, Wilhelm, you bring Wilhelm in here and put him on that whiteboard, he will embarrass the entire room and the entire station. Guarantee you. You want to talk about a defensive savant that you're going to be working with on Friday, right?
Friday night.
You want to talk about a defensive savant? He could come in here and shut me down and quiet me down. But you know what? I don't disrespect him when it comes to football. I really don't disrespect Matt when it comes to anything.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't.
Because he'll stuff me in a box. But I'm just being honest. Like, you can be a fan, but you have to understand, nobody is trying to sabotage your guy. And you can make up as many convenient excuses as you want to. It's still not going to change the truth. So I can sit here and I can scream, and I still get it on social media, and I just still go, okay, mute. I see all the replies are to Shedeur. You're a person who can't be helped. Goodbye. I can't do it any longer. I don't want Deshaun Watson to play either, but have I been not willing to accept the truth of the matter? One guy has 9 years of experience. The other guy has 2. One guy's played in multiple offense. The other guy has played in one that was set up for him. That's all that's been. So if one guy's able to get it a little bit quicker, it's to be expected. Maybe, just maybe, he wasn't number 2 overall. I know you want to play it. I know you're dying to play it. I don't want to play it.
I think we have to play it now because here you are trying to dance around everything.
I'm not ripping him, though. I'm not ripping Jonathan.
I'm going to give you the opportunity to finish the sentence if you'd like, or I can just pot your mic down and start playing the audio.
I mean,
Which one do you want?
You are the conductor. All I am is a puppet at the end of your strings. I understand who I am, so go
The last practice we were at, where Deshaun said, it's in the best place I've ever been, and all these things.
Yeah.
It was the same energy, the same vibe with Deshaun.
Well, it felt very phony.
Yeah.
Which also, by the way, a lot of Saturday felt phony to me, too.
Well, what's interesting is in his, I think it was a third quarter interview with Aditi, I don't think there's anything phony about that smile. That looked like a man who felt like he had, discovered light again.
I can't take anything he does seriously, though, so maybe that's where I have the hang-up here. And if we're going to call him phony for what he did in the press conference leading up to it, then I'm also going to probably call him phony I'm going to call him phony for what happened on Saturday. I think he knows the battle he's got right now in trying to prove to Todd Monken that he gets to be quarterback is showcasing that $1 million smile, is flashing the pearly whites and letting Todd Monken, this guy loves football again, doesn't he? He has a real desire. He's just doing what it takes.
Did you know Deshaun Watson was such a thespian, Kenny? An actor. Did you know?
I'm not ripping Jonathan by anything I just said. I swear to God on my kids. I'm not ripping him. Jonathan definitely. Everybody thinks I don't like Deshaun Watson. I've never accused him of it. I don't think he likes it here. I think there's definitely been many times in Deshaun Watson's. Jonathan, I do. I mean, good God, he's made his life here. Yeah, I'd hope so.
I know so.
Wait, for Watson, was this before or after he got cheered when he was down on the ground,
I think
knowing his season was over? And maybe
there's been many times in Deshaun Watson's history here in Cleveland, I think he sat there and go, "Why did I do this? Why on earth? Why?"
Jumps on his big pile of money and goes, "Oh, yeah, that's it."
And that's the one thing we all can agree on is why you did it. I know why you did it. We all know why you did it. I think Deshaun, have I accused him of not liking football?
No.
Okay. I want to make sure. You guys like to do this to me. Listen, I can't, I know I'm talking down to people, but I know I'm talking down to 3% of the people. I'm not talking down to regular Browns fans. I'm not. You guys know. Seriously. School's starting today, right? So maybe some dads or school's starting this week. Go talk to some of the dads. You probably would rather see Shedeur start, but you guys understand it. I'm not talking down to them. I'm not talking down to a couple of the people that have called in. I'm not talking down to them. I'm talking down to, if I'm talking down to, I guess I am. I'm talking down to 3% of the people who are listening that just want to wish upon wishes that Shedeur Sanders ends up being the starting quarterback. That's not how it works, guys. That's not how this is going to work. If it did work that way, then he's not going to be put in any position to succeed. Because clearly, as you can see as the days go by, they're starting to favor one guy over the other, where it's becoming a pretty loud drumbeat. So I'm not trying to talk down to Browns fans. Browns fans know what's going on. But if you're going to invoke some sort of craziness on the Haslams or Barry on money that's already spent, they're trying to make more money. They're trying to sell PLCs. I got one to say. They're trying to sell PSLs. You think that Billy over in Brook Park wants to buy PSLs with? Oh, you got Deshaun Watson playing quarterback for you. Okay.
I mean, just look at the responses when they put out a tweet celebrating him being the starting quarterback.
About the guy.
In a preseason game.
Yeah, we all want Shedeur to play.
They're not oblivious to
They're
that.
not doing it just to make you upset. But if he can't hack it, he can't hack it.
At least
not right now against Deshaun Watson.
There are people that just can't accept that maybe the coach thinks one is more ready now. Doesn't mean that 5 years from now one's going to be better off. Doesn't mean that 5 weeks from now one is going to be different. But maybe, just maybe, the coach that's paying attention to all of this just thinks they're going to be better off in the short term.
Because you made one guy out to be Satan. And now you can't believe it that you got rid of Satan, but another guy's come in, and he doesn't necessarily disagree with Satan. But we can line up a million excuses.
So now we have to say that somebody's acting when they're smiling because they just played their first football game in how many days?
But and that I think is a little bit too far. I will agree with you on that.
If we're not going to give him anything, we're not allowed to say that Deshaun Watson might actually be
I think he likes
in a
football.
better place than he's been in 2 years. I know fans don't care who hate his guts. They don't care. They don't want him to be happy. They think he's a predator. They think they never want to trade for him. They'd rather have Baker Mayfield. They wish that deal would have never gone out. I get all of that. But can you at least just say maybe he is actually happy? Maybe he's in a better place. And maybe that helps him get Casey Concepcion and Denzel Boston and Harold Fannin and a Todd Monken offense. Maybe that greases things up to start the season.
At the end of all this, who do we think is going to play more?
We've all said Shedeur.
Yes. We think Shedor's going to end up playing more. So I'm not, by the way, this is not even talking trash about Shedeur out the door because there's no door to go out of. You're not trading him. I don't think you can get anything for him. And what's the point of cutting him? I'm going to kick the tires some way, somehow. It's not the end of his career if he doesn't get the starting job. It's just that I hear so much stupidity over these last couple of months. At some point, you've stands all you can stand, you can't stands no more. I mean, what planet are we living on with some folks? And I like the guy. I want the best quarterback to play. And while I would love to have it be Shedeur Sanders, I can accept the reality of the situation. And the reality of the situation every day looks more and more like Deshaun. Okay, fine. I didn't want to trade for the guy. I didn't want the guy here. I thought that everybody freaked out. I think the last 4 or 5 years now have been just an unmitigated disaster. I think that obviously his contract has contributed to that. The point of him being on the roster has contributed to that. It's contributed to the malaise with the fan base. It's contributed to the malaise of people who don't even want to listen about him on the radio anymore. Like, that's what, for somebody to not like the guy, here we are. But I'm not going to go that far to say, he's lying to us. He's acting. He's doing. This is where I have to go after Jonathan. I don't think it's an act. I don't think he's capable acting that way. I don't think he cares for it here. I do think he likes football. So if he goes out there and he plays serviceable football, I agree with Nick when he said serviceable, when he plays a serviceable game and looks decent enough in his first action in 660 days, which, by the way, wasn't even that great. He still put the ball on the ground for crying out loud. But if he looks serviceable enough over 660 days, because you got the worst quarterback room in all the NFL, this is where we're at. And so I can accept the truth. And all I'm asking anybody else is to accept the truth. And here I am, again, preaching to 3% of the people who don't even know what the hell they're looking at. Because the other 97% of Browns fans, this is not pandering. I'll get accused of it. You know what you're looking at because you've seen the worst of the worst for however long it's been. You've seen it all. They've tried all the offenses. They've tried all the defenses. They've tried all the players. You've seen it all.
I love that one,
You see good football on Fridays. You see good football on Saturdays. And you've seen the worst on Sundays. You have seen all of it.
That's my favorite.
It's not a pander.
All the time.
It's the truth.
You guys don't know good quarterback play in Cleveland. No, but we know bad quarterback play.
I know bad ones.
We can identify it faster than anything. I can do it with my ears bottled up, my eyes closed, my nose. I could do this. I still know better.
When we did weekends,
play.
and I'd get calls from Dallas and calls from God knows where when a player wasn't playing. Well, you're from Cleveland. Yeah, and if I tell you your team sucks, you better watch out because I know what garbage looks like. Herm Edwards, 9 o'clock. Ken Carman, Tone Master General, Hurt Feelings on the Fan.
Training camp coverage.
closed due to an accident, and the left lane is blocked on 490 eastbound due to a disabled vehicle. Meredith Kane with your Odyssey Cleveland traffic.
Behind-the-scenes footage, official contest rules, and everything you need to know about the Cleveland Browns and the local sports scene. Get it at 923thefan.com/rules.
This is Browns head coach Todd Monken, and you're listening to the number one sports station in Cleveland, 92.3 The Fan.
Former NFL head coach Herm Edwards, ESPN football analyst Herm Edwards, joining us here coming up at 9 o'clock. I really don't want him to take it that way. I know what I was saying. It's like, oh, gosh, no. Jonathan, I don't want him to take it that way. Like, if you don't like the guy, you don't like the guy. You're allowed to, if you think it's phony, that's your opinion. You're allowed to think his smile is phony. I'm just pointing out, I was just going after all the other stuff.
Yeah, I got to say, like, I think at times, and all of us are guilty of this, like when I wanted Deshaun Watson, I looked the other way, not on the allegations. I certainly weren't looking the other way on those, but I was looking the other way on the bad things of him as a football player. The leaks that had come out about, well, Bill O'Brien was managing him to such an extent, and he put up big stats on some bad teams. Were some of those big second half numbers, were they legitimate numbers? And I looked the other way because I wanted him. I thought he was really good. I thought he was a top 5 quarterback. But I think in the same vein, there are people that can't possibly be honest when it becomes a cutthroat quarterback competition. And when I say cutthroat, I mean the fans. I don't know if it's that way between the players, but the fans, it can be that way. And so I hear it when Jonathan is talking about about Watson. He can't give him any credit. Like, even when they admitted that he had done some good things, they dwelled completely on the bad things in that preseason game. Did they dwell on the bad things when it came to Shedeur? I didn't really hear that. I heard them dwell on the good things, which is what we all do. We're all we can't be totally unbiased in anything in life. Can't do it in politics. We can't do it with our family, with our loved ones, our kids. We always kind of pick one over the other. That's what we do. And I think that everybody has dug in on the quarterbacks, and so they're almost incapable because they're in so many arguments, whether it's on the radio, at the bar with their buddies, or online on social media. They're so dug in that they can't just admit maybe one is ahead of the other.
Like, if we're talking fandom, I am a fan of one over the other, and that's Shedeur Sanders. All Deshaun Watson reminds me of is a lost era of football that could have been great. Or that not even could have been great, could have been competitive. Because if it didn't go this way, yeah, we'd still probably be pretty frustrated. We'd probably be somewhere around Bills fans. We'd be somewhere between the Bills and Chargers. Honestly. Like, he's a playoff quarterback. Am I wrong? I think we'd be somewhere between the Bills and Chargers as far as a fan base that's frustrated. Maybe there with the Bengals. Joe Burrow might have more natural talent, but, he's got a 1-2 punch, the best in the NFL. They've not really been a playoff team. He hasn't really been able to finish a season. We'd be a frustrated but competent football team.
I think you'd just be entering frustration had they never made this quarterback change. Mainly because of the lack of anything competitive for 2 decades, right? It's different for you guys.
That's a great point.
Who, at least had, and Ken, you're a little younger, so even the Browns' prominence of the 80s and early 90s is not the same as it is for Anthony,
Very
right?
little amendment.
But it is a speck of anything, and anybody that has listened to the show for the last 10 years, really, that is under 35 years old.
And that's true, and you know Tone, and I know Tone, and Tone would probably be quicker to criticizing. Like, if had we never made the move, he'd be quicker to criticize Kevin, he'd be quicker to criticize Baker, he'd be quicker to criticize everybody else. And I would be one of the ones that you would have to bring me along, because I'd be like, well, it's not as bad as it used to be. Well, it's not as bad as it used to be. Well, it's not. I know how I am, because I'll probably say that with the next guy. Like, it's not going to – I would love it to be that way, but it's probably not going to be peaches and cake after we get the quarterback in 2027. So we don't get the quarterback if we get the quarterback in 2027, there's still going to be some bumps in the road. Like how I don't know if Bills fans felt that way when they first took Josh Allen, but Justin Herbert, they probably felt that way with the Chargers. They had to have felt that way down in Cincinnati with Joe Burrow, especially what they accomplished early. And now it's been frustrating. Yeah, I'd be late to the party there. I do. I hold a grudge at the timeline. I can't stand that They made the move. I didn't want them to make the move. I was on the record before the trade. We talked about it before, but here we are. So there's lots of reasons of the history of what's gone on where I've seen good players, and some of which who have become friends, had to leave or retire and not be able to accomplish things. They've made a considerable amount of money, and that's great, but we haven't been able to accomplish things, and I talk to a lot more fans than I do players, and they're the ones not making money on it. They're frustrated. So he represents a lost era of football. That doesn't mean I'm going to allow myself to be clouded because I like one and don't like the other. It's not going to cloud my acceptance of what looks like it's going to be the truth, unless something bad happens to Deshaun Watson on Saturday or something bad happens to him tomorrow. Because he seems to be in a clearer and clearer driver's seat. And I'm not going to make up a bunch of crap just to make myself feel better, because I still believe that Shedeur Sanders is going to play more than Deshaun Watson, because I don't have very much faith in Deshaun Watson.
But you agree that if they call this thing on either Saturday after the Buffalo game or the next time we get Todd Monken, if they call it next week, has to be full go. If it's Watson, it's
if they call it, yes,
we're done splitting the reps outside. We got
to get ready for a season here. Yeah. He's got to try to win football games,
because that helps the offensive line. That helps the receivers. It helps everybody on the team know who the guy is. And then Shedeur can
nailed it right there.
He can focus on being the backup who's ready to jump in ASAP.
I got 5 new offensive linemen. We saw how difficult it was to play musical quarterbacks behind an offensive line that actually was working and working well. I'm not even talking about just this last year, because it wasn't that great of an offensive line whatsoever. But even before, when you're playing musical quarterbacks, you could see the type of toll it takes. You have 5 different guys across that offensive line. Don't make any mistake. Todd Monken is in a hurry. I'm not even in a hurry to make him make his decision publicly. I think he's already made his decision privately, and I'm just okay with it. Because I think in the end, it ain't going to make that much of a damn bit of difference, because I don't know if we're going to be talking. I know we ain't going to be talking about one of them next year. I really think we're not going to be talking about either of them next year. I think that QB is probably more sellers, et cetera, and I think that another guy would come in and another guy would come in, and we would talk about that, but we'd be talking about the future of this. So I don't want to lose any actual friends or Browns fans over what the truth is going to be.
This is not the quarterback room to divide your family and friends over.
No. We have January for that, and we will when we start making our arguments over these quarterbacks that are in college. I want to see what Herm Edwards thinks. Does he think that Todd Monken's handling this well? Do you think that Herm thinks that he's handling it well?
Ooh.
That's head coach talking about another head coach. Let's get that head coach talking about that other head coach in 5 minutes on The Fan.
YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and get the best content from our shows each and every weekday. That's 923 The Fan on YouTube. Headline sports news every 20 minutes on 923 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Meredith Kane.
The best Guardians coverage is right here on Cleveland's Sports Radio, 92.3 The Fan.
Herm Edwards in a moment. Contest first. You can go to Fan Anniversary.
And win VIP access to the Fan 15 celebration September 3rd. Dave & Buster's, including a pair of reserved seats, buffet dinner, pair of power cards, enter the word LAND, L-A-N-D. By the end of the hour, 923thefan.com to get registered to win.
Let's go to the Why is Heart Right? We make it right. Call Kyle Wright hotline. Ladies and gentlemen, former NFL coach, former college coach, current ESPN analyst, Eagles legend Herm Edwards joins us on the Why is Heart Right? We make it right. Call Kyle Wright hotline. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. I guess if you're in the Browns, there's a quarterback watch every day that they go to practice. So that's kind of interesting. But
well, we've gotten used to it. But at least us who've been watching them for a long time. Well, how do you? All right, Coach, how do you evaluate a QB? How do you evaluate a QB controversy, competition? How do you go about it?
Well, obviously, your eyes don't lie when you're watching practice every day. It's not just in the preseason games, but it's more of anything else as a practice. And then for me, I always wanted to know from some of the veteran guys on that offensive line, how is he in the huddle? And you really don't know that until you start these preseason games. How does he react in the huddle? Does he have control of the huddle, right? Because that's very important. So, that's what you look at. And then you got to go with your gut and say, well, I'm going to go with this guy. And if not, then it doesn't work out. Then obviously the other guy is going to go in. But that's what you do. You can say numbers, completions. You can do all that stuff. Fans probably – it used to be fans used to come to practice back in the day, and he had quarterback competition, and they would chart it, and you could hear him on the radio. He completed this many balls, and there's a lot to say with nothing.
They still do that, actually, Coach. They're doing that. They've done that the last couple of years, sadly.
Yeah. Who can lead the team, right? Who can lead the team, and who can win? That's kind of important too.
Is there a such thing in this day and age with a limited practice schedule and the collective bargaining agreement? Is there a such thing as a fair quarterback competition, or is one always inherently going to kind of have the edge going in?
I think with this situation, because, it's a preseason, and that has a lot to do with it too. So you can't put a whole lot of stock in the preseason, although that's part of your evaluation. To me, it's every day, it's in coming to practice and watching him and just, does he have leadership qualities? That's kind of important. It was always important to me with the quarterback. But I think at the end, when your eyes don't lie, I always say hey man, if you didn't know their name, I always used to tell coaches this, hey, you know what? Here's a problem with football a lot of times. We know the names on the back of the jerseys. If you just didn't put any numbers on anybody and you just went to practice, like if you were a pickup game, right? A pickup game in the park, and you got the losers lose, and you get to pick 3 guys that are playing on the losing team, and you don't know who they are. And there's 5 guys out there. You go, I'm going to pick that guy with the red shoes. Oh, and that guy with the gold hair, I like him too. You don't know who they are. You just kind of pick them because you listen to your eyes. You watch them. To me, that's practice. What are your eyes telling you? Don't look at the number. Don't look at his name. Just what do my eyes tell me? That guy right there is a good player. He's playing good. And I always fall back on that at the end of the day.
In a situation like Deshaun Watson, where he hasn't played in 600-plus days, he just got his first action in 600-plus days, how do you get him acclimated? And why would you think that sounds bad? Why, in that situation, what could convince you to make him the starter?
Well, look, I got a little bit of a look at him in that preseason game. I was like, for not playing in 2 years? Wow. I don't know if you guys, maybe I saw the wrong thing. He looked pretty good.
You had a good takeaway from it. Okay. Because I thought he was fine. There was the one time he put the ball on the ground, but again, 600 days, I kind of gave him a little bit of a slack for that.
Oh, shoot. They're going to put the ball on the ground. That's football. I mean, that stuff happens. But just the mechanics of it all, in and out of the huddle, just playing football, I was like, wow, this is interesting. So coach got a decision to make. He's got a couple. I guess he got another guy. How many games they play now? 3. If they play, most of the guys wear their baseball hats. They don't play anymore. But he's got a decision. But this decision might not even be done until after week 4 when the season starts. If one of them starts struggling, he'll put somebody. He's gonna put the other guy in, right? Yeah. So we'll see.
All right, we got the great Herm Edwards joining us right now on the hotline. So when it comes to Shedeur, every time we see Shedeur play in a regular season game or a preseason game, he still makes the flash plays. He makes the plays down the field. He's looking down the field to be able to connect. And now the Browns have these young, exciting wide receivers. So fans see that, and they see a relic of the past in Deshaun Watson. You can understand why fans, they want to give the tie, if it is a tie, to Shedeur. Do you understand that mindset?
Absolutely. And I've known Shedeur since he's a little guy. And the one thing he does, you're right. He's exciting. He can make. He's one of those guys where a series will go by and you go, oh no, and then the next time he comes out, because he has selective memory, he doesn't let a bad series affect him. He just doesn't. Then the next series he'll go out there and you go, he's scrambling around. Oh, he just threw one down the field 50 yards for a touchdown. Yeah, I mean that's who he is. I mean, he's a competitive guy. I mean, his last name is Sanders. He's going to compete at the end of the day. That's what he does. And so that's what fans are seeing. He's always been that way.
Well, I hate it because I like him so much.
Yeah.
And I also.
And he's great for the media. He's great for the media.
Well, he's right? I mean, he's already been great in the community, Coach. I mean, he really is a really nice young man, and he's likable. The kids love him. And the thing is, though, when you trade away Myles Garrett, I know they got Jared Verse back, but they also got that extra first-round pick, Coach. And I think your messaging to the fan base is like, hey, maybe we'll have some fun in 2026, but we're really looking forward to April of 2027. And so I can't really get that hyped up knowing that I think they kind of told everybody, like, yeah, we're looking forward to April and figuring out who's going to be able to take over this football team in April.
Yeah, I get it. It's you look at it and you go, okay. It's kind of like now the Jets are in a similar situation, right? Trying to figure out who the quarterback is. In the long term, it's not Geno Smith. So they're trying to figure that out. I mean, there's a few teams, and you're right. You make the point of, okay, if it turns out this way, then we're going to build a team now. It'd be a shame because, they're going to waste, and hopefully this doesn't happen, that they struggle on offense, but they're going to waste another year of really great defensive play. I mean, these guys got good defense. I mean, they're ranked 4th in the league. And what's crazy, this is why if the quarterback can just be efficient, because the defense doesn't give up a lot of points. They only give up 14 points. If you can just be efficient, and don't turn the ball over and give them a short field, the defense will keep you in the game. And you don't want to waste that. I mean, you got this outstanding defense. And it's like, man, we're wasting this. And another year goes by, you don't know what's going to happen.
Well, when we talk about that defense and losing Myles Garrett, the big thing that I think the people are noticing here in town is that Jared Verse is already more of a vocal leader. He's obviously younger, has not accomplished nearly what Myles has, but it is an interesting return for somebody who I thought is the best Cleveland Browns player I've seen in my lifetime.
Yeah, and that helps. I mean, because they're going to need a guy that has leadership qualities over there. Because if this offense bogs down some, they're going to need a guy that can keep the defense humming and keep them playing, knowing that, hey, we just got to stay in this, guys. Just keep playing and just stay in the game, and we'll have a chance, right? So they're going to need that. There's no doubt about that. And you want some leadership from the quarterback position, but right now they don't have a starting quarterback. They don't know who that is.
Well, he ended up being the perfect one, at least as of right now. How does he go? Because I think that when you trade away Myles Garrett, it's like, man, they must think we're going to be garbage this year if you're in the locker room. But then you bring in a guy like Jared Verse, who is a really good football player and is more of a vocal leader. What does he have to do, though? Because I see him winning. I said 6 games. Lima said 5. To some people, we're actually overshooting the mark. Some people think they're going to win far fewer than that. What is the challenge to Jared Verse going into year 3? He's part of the future of this franchise. To be that leader in that locker room when things start getting squirrely in November and the walls are closing in with the media in December, et cetera.
Well, he's got to make sure the team is not split, because that's what will happen. If their offense is struggling and every other week it seems like you're talking about changing the quarterback, and you do change the quarterback, all that, and then the questions are going to be, hey, you guys got this great defense. What about the offense? They're going to try to get a divide, and he can't allow that to happen. And also, I think Coach, he has to, in that room, Coach Mockins, he has to figure out who his leadership committee is. And there's always 5 or 6 guys, not the team captains, but the leadership committee. I've always had that. And those are the guys that really are a part of the fabric of that locker room, where they keep things going, and you meet with those guys once a week. And it's not long meetings, but it's like, how we doing? What's the buzz? Because I always wanted to know what was the buzz with the team, because players talk after practice, they talk in the locker room. And it's not like they're, ratting out any player. It's just like, hey, coach, this is the feeling right now. I always wanted to know how we feeling. How's the locker room, guys? How are we feeling? And I think Coach Mockins, he'll learn this too. The thing you can't get caught doing is staying on one side of the ball, especially as a first-year head coach. You got to be in all the rooms. The players got to see you. You can't get caught on one side of the ball and say, well, he's an offensive coach, he's a defensive coach. No. I coach the whole team. Starts with special teams. And then he's got to coach coaches. And that's what people are failing to realize is this. As much as we want to talk about the players competing, when you're a first-time head coach, think of it this way. You know what else is more important than them players? Is them coaches. You've never coached with these coaches. I want to see how they coach in the preseason. See, and this is why the preseason, the limits of it, it used to be coaches had 4 preseason games. It wasn't so much evaluating the players. You can look at the tape and do that. I want to know how the coaches were coaching on the sideline. When the offensive line came out and we just blew the protection, how are we talking there? Who's talking to the receiver? I want to see how these coaches are giving these players information, because the one thing I know about a football player, when he comes off the field, he wants answers. And how does the coach fix it? Not in practice, in a game. You got 30 seconds to fix it. I wanted to see my coach's coach. That was important to me in the preseason as much as watching the players. The tape will tell you how the players are playing. I want to know what the coaches are doing on the sideline.
Herm Edwards with us, he has a lot of first-year coaches around him. So Todd Monken, at age 60, I will tell you, as fans, we tend to get a little ageist on this, unfortunately, when it comes to the hiring process because of the Sean McVays of the world. Obviously, the young head coaches that get jobs in this league, the Ben Johnsons and so on. So what are we missing when it comes to somebody like Todd Monken, who can come in and obviously dazzle the Browns organization to the point where he gets his first head coaching position in the NFL at age 60?
He has a lot of football experience, and he's seen a lot. And that's what and that's what they're probably looking for right now. They're looking for a guy that can calm everybody down. And no matter what happens, he's seen it before. He's been around football long enough. There's nothing he hadn't seen, nothing he hadn't dealt with or watched. So he has a lot of answers for a team that's trying to find their way, for a team that, there's a lot of questions, right? Especially Myles Garrett's gone. Okay, what are we going to do on defense? Okay, we're trying to figure out the quarterback. Okay, we got some new receivers. How do we implement them in the offense? How are we running this offense? What kind of offense is it going to be? We play outside. When November hits, we got to be able to run the football. All these things he's been around. He's seen it. He's got answers. See, he got answers because of his experience, and that's what's going to help him.
Coach Herm Edwards joining us on the Wise Heart Right, We Make It Right, Call Kyle Right hotline. Coach, I thank you so much for the time. We thank you so much for the time. All the best to you and yours. We hope to be able to run you down again soon. Wonderful as always, Coach.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Herm Edwards on the Wise Heart Right, We Make It Right, Call Kyle Right hotline. I loved what he said about week 4.
Yeah.
By the way.
Oh, yeah.
You noticed that.
I saw you perk up when it comes to that, because the competition we always think is decided before the first game of the year.
What?
Sometimes these things can leap into the actual regular season and spill over.
Well, he made me go down a side road because it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And I think we're forgetting that every single practice. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima. Take us with you to work on the free Odyssey app. Also, I want to tell you about K&K Heating and Cooling.
Every Thursday, you'll hear us and see us chatting with big-name celebrities.
And every Monday, you're stuck with just me and Dana. We react to news, what's trending, viral clips.
Follow and listen to Fly on the Wall everywhere you get your podcasts.
Deshaun Watson, Shador Sanders. The Browns QB battle is back. We're your home for preseason coverage. The radio home of the Cleveland Browns. 92.3 The Fan.
I got a little bit of a look at him in that preseason game. I was like, for not playing in 2 years, wow. Maybe I saw the wrong thing. He looked pretty good. They're going to put the ball on the ground. That's football. I mean, that stuff happens. But just the mechanics of it all, in and out of the huddle, playing football, I was like, wow, this is interesting. Coach got a decision to make. This decision might not even be done until after week 4 when the season starts. If one of them starts struggling, he'll put somebody. He's going to put the other guy in, right?
That's a very key thing. You can even hear me go, oh, in the background there. I'm going to get to that here in a moment. Is John there? John, can you hear me at all? He might not be able to. He might be working. He wrote Eagles legend, and I kind of wanted to ask, like, he had a nice long career with the Eagles. I think he finished up with the Rams, if I'm not mistaken, Herm, during his career. But I want to know, like, I've only been to Philadelphia one time. Like, we have players here, and they're people who pass through. They're like, oh, my God, Cleveland really loves. So, like, do they feel that way about Herm in Philly? And I just don't know.
It's just the miracle of the Meadowlands, Ken.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah. That's what I know him from. Obviously, everyone's seen that clip. If you're a Philly fan.
Well, did he play there for like 9 years?
He played there for a long time, but obviously that's the play that he's the most famous for. I mean, I wasn't alive. I don't know that much about Herman Edwards, but that's what I know about him.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying, like, if you go around Philadelphia, like we have Bernie here. Bernie's.
He's not up there with like Dawkins.
Okay, well, that's kind of where I'm at on it. Yeah, like
he's still. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't say he's a top 10 Eagle of all time, but he's got a moment the same way that like Freddie Mitchell has a moment, Deshaun Jackson has a moment. I'd say he's on par with Deshaun Jackson. Probably.
Bernie, like as I was like, Bernie's more well known. I'm like, well, Herm is on ESPN, so I don't know which one to do on. I think that it's arguable maybe, but like we obviously love Bernie
I think
here.
Most people know him more for You Play to Win the Game.
Yeah, which that might be a little dubious. But I just wonder, like every city has their guys. It's like, listen, you can say what you want to about certain players. Do not say this about this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. When you go to a town, like when we had to tell you know who, don't be ripping on Big Chuck and Little John. We had to run in here and turn his mic off because what is this? What are you talking? I don't know why I'm doing Gilbert Gottfried all of a sudden.
And then do that.
Well,
we're not going to say his name, but
I'm not going to say his name.
Mediocre impression.
But here's a very bad impression of the guy. I just put out Lord Baseball. It was a long time ago. He didn't know what he was saying. It was 15 years ago, for crying out loud. He's grown. Fixed his wagon real quick on that. Was screaming at him. Go, those are legends. You shut your mouth. But yeah, maybe Herm's that way. I don't know. He said week 4. See, this is what it is. Like, I'm sure I saw Keith walk by, so that means he's going to make a video of me losing my mind earlier. And that's going to get people worked into a shoot. Certainly, without a doubt. I'm ready for all of it. And frankly, I don't care anymore. We're too close to the football season. We're too close to reality here. But the thing I don't want him to leave out is that the whole show thinks Shador Sanders is going to play more this year in the regular season in games that count than Deshaun Watson. And this is where I think Browns fans, the real Browns fans, the guys and women and boys and girls, everybody who've been listening for years, this is what I think we're all trying to agree on. What's the point of us all cussing each other out as Browns fans when we believe that Deshaun Watson isn't going to play as much as Shador Sanders this year? And I think most of us have resigned ourselves to the thought, not the fact yet, but the thought that our quarterback is in college right now.
Well, I can tell you what the difference
is. What's the point of us ending relationships and friendships and such?
Let me know if you think I'm off on this. There are only 3 camps you can be in. Those camps are that Shador is going to be really good, that neither is going to be really good, or that Deshaun is going to be bad. I have not heard a camp that anybody thinks Deshaun is going to be good. And because of that...
That is true. There is not a 4th camp. There's only 3.
So because of that, if you're in the Shador camp, then you can't envision a world where Deshaun Watson beats him out because you don't think he could be good and you think your guy is going to be really, really good. I'm in the camp that both of these guys are not going to be starting quarterbacks a year from now.
But I'm talking to reality. I'm talking to people in real life.
Where Deshaun is good, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to make that thought process work in my head, and we've had people call in the last 2 weeks, but they've never said, I think Deshaun's good. They just said, if he gives us the best chance to win, then make him the starting quarterback, which is another way of just saying the other guy's really bad, or I think the other guy's bad.
Well,
but like this version of Deshaun Watson, maybe the one we got 5 years ago, there was a Deshaun camp. I was in that camp. So that camp is gone. That doesn't exist in Cleveland anymore. And even his Houston fans are like, that's not the same guy. The guy in Cleveland is not the same guy in Houston that was running around making plays and, going to the playoffs and with a huge lead over Patrick Mahomes at halftime of a playoff game. Like, that's gone. That doesn't exist. There is no camp that even exists for that. The thing is, I feel like the people that can't see Shedeur being bad, they are so invested in him when the team is not. So that creates an issue. This Browns team is not invested in Shedeur, a fifth-round pick, being the future. They're just not.
But those folks think that we're sleeping on a savant, no, that's not the word, a phenom.
Yeah.
Phenom.
Yeah.
They think we're sleeping on a phenom.
That they see it and we are just incapable of seeing it.
I can't talk to those people. I can't reason with them. I'm not going to bother anymore. I'm not going to try.
That was Tebow mania. That's exactly what that was.
And I reached a point then, because we were on the air then, not you and me together, but we were on the air then. I go, I can't reach you people. I'm sorry. I'm not talking to you anymore. I'm talking to realistic people who know what they're looking at. And when you go out there onto the streets and out, like I'm going to do Friday Night Touchdown, I don't believe there's going to be any, but I think I'm going to run into a lot of people who believe that, hey, they like Shedeur. But I don't think I'm going to run into anybody who goes, the Browns are putting the boots to him again. I can't believe this. This is all one great big conspiracy against the court. Nope. Hadn't happened. And I think for Browns fans, we're just not going to be fooled again. Because I can look at this, and some of this stuff is, like you need a fresh set of eyes. It was time for Kevin to go. Kevin went. Todd Monken, though, is not a sorcerer. He's a football coach. So he can take them and maybe make them better, but can he make them all the way better? Because when we keep hearing from some people about how many wins are they on in the afternoon show right now? I want to remain accurate here. Because anytime I say a win total, I get told I'm out of context here. Now, this is where I am taking a little bit of a swing. Because I can't affix a number. I just know it's way higher than what you and I would say, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, I got Seth Walter of ESPN saying that Taylor Green's going to be the starter by the end of 2026, which... No offense to him, I can't see that happening right now.
And then the image,
wonderful young man,
and starting week 18 are two different things.
That's true.
There is a good possibility that he starts week 18 based on history.
Wouldn't be the craziest thing, but you'd have to probably get him back off the practice squad unless you plan on keeping 4 quarterbacks active, or if they really do move on from Dylan Gabriel. But we had Zach Jackson on last week saying that Dylan was an organizational pick. So I got to shut up, and I didn't think he was an organizational pick. I'm wrong. Zach must have been right. I'm going to go with Zach on that. I'm going to go, okay, well, we got Dylan Gabriel third, Shedeur, and Deshaun. But I keep bringing up, and I think that this is where a lot of people look at it, and we have to remain realistic. And maybe I'm wrong. If you feel different, fine. 216-474-0092. But I keep looking around and go, where am I getting – and I'm getting fewer and fewer of them. Where are people coming up with 10 or 11 wins? Unless there's a schedule on there that has St. Ignatius. Unless there's a schedule on there that has Prairie View A&M.
To say 10 wins, to even say 9 to me, you must think this team is absolutely loaded.
But they're not.
Beyond the quarterback position.
You saw that in game 1 of the preseason. You played starters.
Yeah, Kenny, I can't even see us in practice against our own guys. I cannot see us with a usable running play. Then because the offensive line can't block guys.
They're having problems. The defense is frustrating the offense to the umpteenth degree, and it seems that they're somewhat rubbing their noses in it, which I love a good competitive group. Gotta love that. That's part of the truth of it. I was going to save this for tomorrow. I'll say this now. This is not an excuse. What's done is done. If you want Andrew Berry fired after this year, you're going to have plenty of reasons to do it. If you wanted Andrew Berry fired last year, you're going to have plenty of reasons to do that too. Because I look at this team and I go, you still need a couple of more drafts. You got to get the quarterback right, and you still need a couple of more drafts. This whole thing about we're just a quarterback away. A quarterback away from what? being taken seriously again? Like, do you take the Raiders more seriously today than what you did last year because of Mendoza? You have to. So is that the bar that we're setting here? Nobody takes us seriously until we get that quarterback. And now, well, we take it a little bit more seriously, but you're still going to be on the way up. If that's the case, then I'm with you. But if you're saying that this group and the difference between them and being a playoff team that makes runs is just a quarterback, I just can't subscribe to that. We have fewer great ones, elite ones than we've ever had. The game's changed so much, and you got, with starters, you still made it to the second half, third quarter, guys with no NFL experience. And another offensive coordinator trying to make you look bad so he could build his resume. Not talking to Ben Johnson there. So you had that. You have an offensive line that still consists of 4 free agents and a rookie. And that rookie's going to be good. I really sincerely think he's going to be good. He's got a great head on his shoulders. He's working his ass off. And if he's got those two things and physically he's there, which he is, I think Spencer Fano is going to be very, very good for this football team. But that's still a year or two away. Jared Verse is only going into year 3. Mason Graham's only going to go into year 2. You guys know this as well as anybody. Look at defensive tackles around this league. They get better with age. It gets to the point where guys don't want them to retire. Calais Campbell, Aaron Donald.
They can stick around forever.
They can stick around forever, and it's a very physically taxing position. It's not a nasty comment. It's just the truth of the matter. They need more personnel. They need more off seasons. They got to get out of the cap hell. Well, depending on who you believe, they're not in cap hell, but they got to get out of the situation that they're in with you-know-who, and they will. And then we got to get going in the right direction. Like, things can trend up, but there's still a lot of work that they need to do. So when I keep hearing, well, we're a quarterback away from having more positive conversation, I can buy that. Quarterback away from having a much sunnier disposition on the future of this franchise, can buy that too. But if we're saying quarterback away, maybe you could make a run. I mean, Jaden Daniels made a run, even though now he's going into year 3 and everybody thinks bad things about him because of this lawsuit and all that other stuff. C.J. Stroud is the same situation.
Yes, you might even think you might have it after that rookie year.
That's all I'm trying to say. And I want them to do well. I want the quarterbacks to do well, but there's no point of having these big fights, especially over week 1. Like, what are we holding on to week 1 for? And that sounds like I'm going to make excuses for Shedeur to not start week 1. If you're one of the people that think I'm the leader of a cult, I think he's going to play more. So does the guy who's been going against his fans more than anybody on this station, or really in Cleveland media, it seems, this guy over here. He thinks he's going to play more, and he doesn't want anything bad to happen to him. So what's the point of us cussing each other out and getting all mad?
I think our shows would be more entertaining, more exciting if Shedeur was the quarterback.
If they win 10 games this year, then the rest of the NFL has made mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake passing up on Todd Monken. Easily coach of the year if they win 10 games this year. Like, I think people on other shows are saying. I can't guarantee that. Again, anytime I say it, well, you didn't get the context. It's like, well, just it's a number. All you have to do is put a number out there. It's not that hard. I said 6. Lima said 5. Mary Kay said 7. If you put 10 out there, you got to have that reasoning. Coming up in 5 minutes. Hey, you know what? Speaking of Fernando Mendoza, I do think we could do better than him, but it's not because of what he said yesterday. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, and a quote machine out in Vegas in 5 minutes on The Fan. Northeast Ohio.
nourish good gut bacteria, and Super Greens with probiotics empower daily digestive health. Try the full lineup of gut health support from Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Talk sports deep into the Cleveland night. Overtime with Jake Volnick. Weeknights at 7. Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
You having fun right now?
I'm having fun seeing you blow up.
Why?
And I'm having fun at some of the conversations with the Shador fans. But overall, if these are your options going into a season,
Stop thinking about the big picture.
Yeah,
Let's
right.
focus on this.
Right.
Let's focus on just finding the fun.
If I only focus on the minute detail of right now, I'm going to have a heart attack and die.
Well,
but if I
that's the
focus
thing.
on the big picture,
Nick
okay.
Wilson tweeted, "Who said this hasn't been fun?" in response to somebody. And I know Twitter reaction brought to you by Scheiben Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store. That was in response to somebody kind of making fun, a Browns fan, of this whole situation. And I said, well, Nick has said this has been fun throughout. And he said, who's not having fun?
Not fun.
And I guess my question to Nick would be, what quarterback competition would he deem not fun then? If this one's fun, then which one isn't fun?
I don't know how he figures. Does he want Shador to start?
Yeah, I think
How
so.
can he consider this fun? I'll probably have a bunch of fans boo him.
Nick?
Deshaun.
Oh.
No, they can boo Nick too.
They didn't boo him in
boo
Avon?
Nick.
Yeah,
I don't want him. No, I don't want him to boo
They
Nick.
can boo him out at Fan 15 at
Don't
Dave &
boo.
Buster's.
No, don't boo Nick.
Will he get booed? Ooh.
Nick's a good person. I don't. No reason to boo Nick.
Have a hair on your ass if you don't boo Nick Wilson.
Well, he doesn't play sports, so what's the point of booing him?
Might as well.
The Wall Street Journal says the Cleveland Browns face an uninspiring choice between two of the most flawed signal callers in the league.
Well, wait a
Nick's
minute.
been
I don't
jousting you two for years.
I don't go to Wall Street Journal to get my sports. Now,
That's
do
where
I?
I always go.
No, yeah. I remember reading the Wall Street Journal for all their great sports takes back in the day. Don't be stupid. All right. So I'm going to say something.
Princeton Review for my sports.
I'm going to say something. I almost gave you the finger and we're on YouTube. Oh, you said Princeton Review. Never mind. I'm glad I didn't give you the finger. Well, also, I would have gotten in trouble. I think we could do better than Fernando Mendoza in this year's draft. Hold on. That doesn't mean he's going to be garbage. I just think he's going to be good. And I'd like to be good. But since we didn't have a chance at him, all right, maybe I can take the chance at getting better. Getting somebody really, really special. Instead of just in a not-so-great draft class. It's like, well, you got the number 1 overall pick, and here you go. You got to take him. And he's a nice young man. But, Lima, you love hearing from Fernando Mendoza.
This is amazing.
And
I've
so
never heard anything
you
like
wanted
this.
to play this, so you got to tell me about this. You got to set this up.
Yeah,
here.
they just had their joint practice recently, and it was very spirited, very physical. Was it the Texans?
Houston Texans, yeah.
Anybody get suplexed?
Could be the best defense in the league.
Nobody got suplexed. There was nobody's former wrestler's son. Yeah, WWE Hall of Famer's son playing for. I'm probably wrong about that some way, somehow, but
Probably
still.
somebody.
Yeah.
Razor Ramon's boy doing.
So here is Fernando Mendoza, number 1 overall pick, Heisman Trophy winner and national champion. One of the best quarterback years we've ever seen in modern day college football, not according to the Shador fans. But here is Mendoza commenting.
Able to go against the Texans defense, which is also a top defense in the league, go against them, be able to get some reps with the ones against the superstars on their defense. And then obviously their twos are fantastic as well. We got so much work, whether it was move the ball, first down, third down, red zone, 2-minute. There were so many situations, and I believe overall it was a positive day. There were plays that I loved and plays that I wish I had back, but in reality, that's a lie. I wish I didn't have them back because it's a growing experience, and it's practice. It's practice, and this is what I love, and it's a beautiful day to play football here, and I'm so happy I have so many things to learn from today.
What's wrong with that?
First of all,
What's wrong with that?
I think there's absolutely nothing wrong.
Sounds kind of like a coach.
With this. He does. I mean,
Sounds like a college coach.
It seems like he has been taking cues forever. And so a lot of people have commented over the last few years that this is a total fake, that he is just telling the media what he wants them to hear. He's telling his coaches what they want him to hear. The question is, at what point is it not a fake anymore? At what point is it just Fernando Mendoza? Like that he's not
all an act and there's a seedy person in there?
Not that he's seedy, but that there's so much ass kissing behind this that it's almost a try hard at all times. And I see nothing wrong with this at all. But people are wondering if this is authentic. And I'm like, man, he's been in our lives now for 2 full years. And people that have been paying attention, scouts have been paying attention to him a year before that, obviously when he was out west. But this is kind of him. I think this is kind of who he is.
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
Now, will it translate? Will it translate? As smart as he sounds at all times, and we know he's a great student, we know that he was going into the finance sector and all of that. Is this going to translate to him being a very, very good quarterback in the NFL?
They just think that this is all hype, and that it's one thing to think he's bad. It's another thing to think he's secretly not a good dude. That's my question to this. Like, he was at California. They're not the greatest they're not the greatest football program to ever exist here over the last 50, 60 years. You could still fall back on the college experience, the NIL experience. Then he goes to Indiana. There's obviously a obscene success there. There's going to be struggles this year. So I guess you pay attention to him a little bit to see whether or not he cracks under the pressure of playing in an NFL franchise where we don't feel bad for you here. There's no class to escape to. There's no buddies to play video games with. There's none of that stuff. Like, this is cold-hearted NFL football.
I mean, he doesn't sound anything.
And you're an employee.
He doesn't sound any. You could not have a more diametrically opposing, just in the way they sound, than our quarterbacks. And I know Shedeur is built to be this philosopher and everything, and I am interested in what Shedeur has to say. You get a lot of cliches out of Mendoza, but he does sound like a coach. I don't think our quarterbacks sound anything like this. Would that matter to our fans?
Do you think that Fernando Mendoza sounds better than our coaches?
I think he sounds more like a coach's pet. Even though, ironically, Shedeur played for his dad, who was a head coach, but he wasn't your run-of-the-mill head coach. Dion didn't sound anything like a head coach.
Thanks to everybody who had joined us for Around the AFC North. Thanks to Herm Edwards. He was awesome. We're back tomorrow. Mary Kay, 8:20. Going to have to be listening to that. For Owen, for everybody, for Tone, I'm Ken Carman. Have a wonderful day. The Slippery Wizard, Anthony Lima. I'm Ken Carman. Have a great day. Go